me coffee in the morning, gotta have the coffee. Wake me up, shake me up, dip me back on pussy. One sip, two sips, and I'm feeling so alive. Coffee in the morning, it's the best way to survive. Woke up in the morning, sleepy eyes yawning. Jumped out of bed, started the day, opened the curtains. Felt the cool breeze, the sun shining on my face. But something was missing, I needed my job to chase. Give me coffee in the morning, give me coffee in the morning, gotta have the coffee. Wake me up, shake me up, dip me back on pussy. One sip, two sips, and I'm feeling so alive. Coffee in the morning, it's the best way to survive.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. How are you? I got to get my jolly chase. I know it's not morning, but we're going to do it anyway. Welcome in, everybody. Sound check. Make sure y'all can hear me good in the chat. Y'all know I'm running with a swamp signal over here. Let me get. Okay. Motion to scream. What the fuck? Granted. Welcome in. Y'all know I love saying that girl's name. She's a sweetheart. Butterfly, welcome in. Carrie, Danny, welcome in. Daisy Jade. That's like a summary name, right? I love that. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Coming in. Come on in, get your coffee, whatever y'all enjoy. We sound good? Good deal. Well, it says we got a good strong signal, so hopefully we can do what we're going to do. We got a guest coming on to join us. Kind of a little impromptu live. I wasn't feeling good yesterday. Kind of started feeling a little icky on Thanksgiving night, actually. I was like, what's going on? So I just went to bed. And I woke up the next morning yesterday and I was like, oh, okay. Yes, I took meds all day and chilled out and I watched a lot of true crime yesterday, like documentaries and Datelines. Oh my God, I kind of like went on a binge of Dateline yesterday. Tried to find ones I'd never seen. And man, I'm telling y'all, people do crazy shit to each other out there. And so many times it's the person that you either thought it was in the beginning or you're like, damn, I didn't see that coming. That was some kind of shows. Anyway. But I was bored today and I missed you guys and I missed talking. And then I was laying in bed this morning thinking about getting up, thinking I was kind of tired, so I just started scrolling my social media. And I'd seen bits and pieces of this over the last few days, but I've been kind of just avoiding it all because it was a little much, because it was just bullshit, let's be honest. So I didn't want to look at no more of it. But then J for Justice dropped a standalone video of Lauren Mathias and producer Grayson over in Boise, Idaho. And as I'm laying there listening to it, I'm probably not listening to it the way everybody else is listening to it. And I don't mean that in a weird way or like, what does that mean, girl? I had one thing on my mind. She said, we're here to cover the Brian Koberger sentencing. That's all it took for me. Are you now? Can you tell me the victims' names and ages and where they're from? Because right now it's turning into all about you again, and it pissed me off. Here we go again. Having all the conversations, but not the right ones. And there's so much going on right now, people having conversations about each other that I'm not even going to touch with a 10-foot pole. I'm like, phew. I can't even act that way in my real life. Couldn't imagine having so much drama in my life that I just couldn't imagine it, guys. It's hard for someone like me to wrap my head around people who seem to enjoy drama. Like, if we're not going to talk about the drama of it all, and you can't bring a little bit of that to the stream and to the table for a little entertainment purposes, I, I, I'm a true crime channel. I don't know if that's entertaining. I didn't come on YouTube with the purpose to be an entertainer. I don't even know what I would do to entertain people. I talk about true crime and horrific things that happen to people. I don't know if that's entertaining. It might be to some weirdos. It might be, like the Coburgers and all of them. They might get into that shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying. So anyway, I was watching this video, and I think I made a post or two, one on Twitter and one over on the YouTubes. So then I talked to a friend of mine briefly. I was like, well, I'm going to go live. You want to come talk to us? Come talk to me. And she agreed. So I want to bring her up now because I love having a little chat with her. I crave good conversations, and I'm by myself up here all the time. Dolphin's not up here a lot anymore. We haven't had good documents come down in Idaho in forever for us to get up here and do our thing. And I miss it. Dolphin, get your ass up here. So let me bring up Andy. Andy, welcome to the show, ma'am. Thank you for coming.
Hey, can you hear me?
Can hear you. You sound good. Chat, let us
Okay,
know. Does
all
she sound
right.
good? You can see her, all the things.
Hmm.
Well,
Good to be here.
thank you for coming into the impromptu live with me.
Oh, hell yes. No problem.
Mm. So you've seen the video of the Boise incident where she calls the cops or whatever, Lauren.
Yeah, flames on the side of my face. Yeah, to
Yeah.
say the least.
Yeah. So that was in July. She went on the Mormon Stories podcast. I think it was in June. And I
Okay.
think, if I'm not mistaken, Gigi's posts were back in April or May, June. They were kind of early. There was rumblings that Kay had heard things back in the spring.
Mhm.
So by the time July comes, Lauren she knows, people know some of the things she has been saying because these girls she's irritated them. And when she went that 9-hour live and said, I dare anybody to call this drama,
Oh boy.
ma'am,
Excuse me, ma'am. You are.
we
Sorry.
I just watched it again today. It's literally all about drama.
Lord have
It came,
mercy.
seriously, you said I had a producer named Lindsay, and then my new producer is Grayson. They both used to work for another podcaster, which we all know is Annie Elise.
Mm-hmm.
Then they come over there. There's probably already some sort of something between them girls. They get to Delphi.
Oh
Grayson comes
Lord.
on. Grayson comes on board now, taking notes, doing all the things. So we cannot live without them in Delphi. I couldn't have survived it without them boots on the ground note takers.
Oh yeah.
So
I
they go
didn't
do
know.
that.
I don't know a lot about that, so maybe we can come
And that's
back to
all.
that.
Yeah, all that is. Well, that's apparently what triggered something. Because once they get to Delphi,
Mm-hmm.
and she takes Grayson on, I think full time, sometime around in there. That's when I think Joe met them at Delphi. They end up back at this Airbnb, and she invited Grayson to stay. That triggered something in that Lindsay chick, and they're like, we don't want to stay here with her. But Lauren didn't respect that because it was originally just them, right? With
Mm-hmm.
no Grayson. So that set something off.
Mm-hmm.
And now here we are. Lauren talked bad about you, blah 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 blah.
Mm.
And that's what it all come down to. Now we're going to run around filming each other, recording each other, taking screenshots and doing the things. And it's weird.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's
it,
real weird.
it and Lauren's very calculated. Is becoming so. It was already apparent to me, but it's becoming more and more and more apparent, especially watching that video. When you really pay attention, you watch Lauren. Don't get distracted
Mhm.
by all the things around it. Watch Lauren.
Mhm.
This woman's not afraid of anything. She doesn't act afraid. She not one time indicates she's afraid. She does talk about how Grayson, her young producer, is afraid.
Eh,
I'm pretty sure that's because she worked Grayson up to
mm,
those points.
you know, it just struck me all wrong, and we spoke a little bit about it. But when this whole thing started, my thing was, what about the real victims, right?
Yeah.
When the RO came out, like, what the fuck is going on here?
Okay.
There's people out
Right.
here that can't
Yeah.
get these things, that need them legitimately. So when I saw
So,
that video, mm-mm.
well, but now that you've said that, let's go back to why she's in Boise, Idaho,
Mhm,
to cover the Brian Koberger trial or sentencing. Why did you go to a sentencing? Because the guy pled guilty to 4 homicides,
mhm,
4 young college students. He killed them. And guess what? He was near that home allegedly 20 plus times near the home. Kaylee reported a guy in the bushes in the back, shadowy figure. We don't know who that was, granted.
mhm,
Legally, we cannot call Brian Koberger a stalker in the state of Idaho. There you stand in Boise, Idaho, complaining to a cop, and you don't even call, she doesn't even call the girl a stalker in this video.
mm-mm,
She continues to say cyberbullying.
mhm.
Did you notice that?
Oh, I sure
She
did.
It was in that, and I looked at the date. I was like, "Wait a minute, when is this?" Because back at the hearing later on, we're now up to escalated to stalking, like,
Mhm,
following you, hiding in the bushes, lurking in the grocery store, that kinda thing, or
mhm.
email, some kind of communication. That's what I was thinking when I first heard her little "I'm stalking" thing. Um, but we couldn't even I cannot legally come on my show and say Brian Koberger was stalking the victims in the Idaho 4 case, or any of those hundreds of other girls he had, browser photos of.
Mhm.
So how dare she do that? And then she's hijacking it. Now it's all about me. Same thing she did in Arizona as well. She's over there in Arizona covering Lori Vallow again, making it all about her. The bailiff's got to throw somebody out of the courtroom because she's uncomfortable. And then at the Koberger sentencing, at the press conference, she approaches Lindsay, the girl she sent a cease and desist to, about, "Can I have a seat here?"
Yeah.
You
Mm-mm,
really?
mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. It's a level of entitlement that I have no. I don't
Mm,
even know how to categorize it. Like, I honestly, that's that. There's so many different strands to this for me, as I'm sure everybody. But
yes.
it's like the entitlement, that is just that was one of the things that came through loud and clear in that video for sure. It was like, wow, she's standing here taking up an hour. How long was she? How long was that? How long was
It
she
was
taking up all
wow.
that time?
Yeah. Oh,
It was nuts.
hold on
um
one second, guys.
sure, sure.
Sorry.
Mhm. Hello everybody. uh what's going on? I'll just talk, I guess, for a hot second. um yeah. So
Sorry, Andy. Sorry about
no,
that,
I was
guys.
I was entertaining the troops.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That was my sister was calling, and I knew she was on her way home. I didn't know what was going on, so it's like we're all good. We're all good. But so the level of entitlement, right?
Mhm.
Um, that's been there. You even in this video, she talks about, and I think a lot of us who know this kind of woman already felt this was already the case. But she sits there in that video talking about how they're, what did she actually call them? Trial,
Oh my god. You know what? Oh god.
not followers, not that wasn't the term she used.
Taurus.
Tourist or something, yeah.
Yeah, something
And
like that.
she needed to be there because she's working, and you
Uh,
know why? Because
oh,
she's the breadwinner in her family. She has
Lord.
no choice to be there. And I was like,
Well,
oh, Miss Breadwinner.
mm-mm, mm-mm,
John's that stay-at-home dad we all knew he was. Obviously, someone's got to do it.
mm. I, you know, I don't even know. There, I can't even talk. I'm so pissed because the thing is like, I'm sorry, ma'am. In our system, they're not trial tourists. What there are is the public, because we, the
Right.
people, are the court. So let's get it real clear here.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that infuriating because,
It it was insulting.
yeah, absolutely. It's like, ma'am, the public is the court. Get
Yeah.
it right. You should know.
I
You're some big time reporter. No, you aren't. Uh-uh.
Right, you got style. John defines you as someone with style who has all that body of work integrity like Brad Pitt. That
Oh,
bullshit. Doesn't
sweet
matter what you
Jesus.
did
Mm-mm.
publicly or what's being said about you. We just need to focus on that really good body of work
Bullshit, man.
because you got style. Well, we had
Mm-hmm.
style, sir, and that
Mm-hmm.
that was weird what we were seeing. The level, the level of entitlement, and
Mm-hmm.
even like she's the kind of personality that needs to be in control of
Mm-hmm.
everything. She's in control of the house, the husband, the kid. You got this. I'm going to go do my thing. And I think it was Jay. It maybe had a short where she's sitting in the car, and I guess she did a little impromptu live short or something. But she was talking about going shopping. Well, I went shopping and I didn't buy any furniture, John. And I was like, well, damn, the way she was in that video, I was like, "That lady's kinda serious."
You
That was a
know,
message to John. "Yeah, I'm
mm,
out shopping, and I did buy something, but it wasn't the furniture." I was like, "Whoa, I don't need to know all that. What's going
uh,
on there." I
that's a
don't.
mess. That's
It is.
messy.
It's
I don't want
messy.
gross.
So,
Gross.
go into the messy situation of it all, there appears to be, and
Oh,
I'm not
oh,
gonna go
can
into
you
a
hear me?
thing about. Yes, did we blink out a minute? Uh-oh, cannot hear you now. Can you guys hear me in the chat? What's going on? Let me check chat. All right, chat, let me know if you guys can hear me at least. Let me take Andy down for a second, and then I'll bring her back up.
Crap. There I
Okay,
am.
there you
Okay.
are.
Okay.
Now I can hear you. I guess
Okay.
chat can still hear me. I was like, I don't know what happened, so I took you down a moment and brought you back up
That's
just
right.
in
Yeah.
case. Yeah, like a refresh. So it could be on my end because I'm not used to bringing guests up when I'm streaming with this hotspot stuff. Anyway, but so if she's like in control of everything constantly, in this going back all the way back to the Vallow case when things first started,
Mm-hmm.
and she decides she's going to interview the family, and at that time, this is what I want to point out to people. Even with the Gonzalez family in Idaho 4, and even the families in the Delphi case, whatever, it- when something happens to your child or your loved one, I don't think it's expected to happen that day, and unless you did it yourself, and all of a sudden you're thrust into the spotlight that you're unsure how to navigate this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're all going to have their own reactions and their own way of dealing, and people are going to want to talk to them, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So it's like getting the victims out there, and their faces and their voices, whatever, getting their stories. So when Lauren started was doing the Vallow case, I was like finding out about YouTube or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was following the Lori Vallow trial, but Idaho, we didn't, for that trial, we didn't get a camera. We got audio at the end of the day. So I was watching a few streams here and there to see what was going on in the YouTube world of Lori Vallow. And I stumbled across her channel.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had watched videos about her with the family. And I was like, this is pretty cool. I kind of that's how I got to know Kay and Larry. And
Mm-hmm.
I really fell in love with Kay and Larry. So it's through a lot of what she was doing there. And then she was also taking a road that no one else seemed to be taking in the Lori Vallow case. She was looking a little bit at the cult stuff of it
Mm-hmm.
all. And I thought that's somebody needs to look at the LDS part of it, because I feel like that's a huge part of what Lori and Chad were doing, and it's being really missed, but okay. And turns out, though, later on when I meet Kresha's doing the same thing. And then when I heard Kresha on her live, she Kresha was just being Kresha, and she was talking, and I'm listening. And she says something about talked to Lauren about what she was looking into. Next thing you know, there's message about Lauren shining a bad lip, trying to get Kresha to look bad, saying messed up shit about her in text messages and stuff like that. I'm like, what's going on here? Why is she now I see it. She didn't want Kresha to be the one to come out with whatever. I don't know if that was a control thing for the LDS. Let me put the brakes on that girl, and I'll cover it my way so it looks a little bad, but not real bad. But what that girl's doing is she called it dangerous. She called
Mhm.
Kresha dangerous. What about
What?
Kresha made her yes, and it's on my phone. I don't have it loaded up here to show, but in that message that was leaked, um, she says that Kresha was dangerous, and I thought, "What is Kresha doing that's so dangerous?" She's the aunt to JJ Vallow, the niece to Charles. What's she
Right.
doing?
Right.
Andy, come on, right?
No, it's
What
like
she was doing? She was digging into the LDS aspect
Mhm.
of what Lori and Chad and the cults and all of
Mhm.
that. Is that what she was referring to as dangerous?
You
I don't.
know, it could be anything, right? Because
Right.
this woman, the thing I find so there's so many things I find disturbing about the way that she has, and the way that I talk about it is like putting yourself you're making yourself into a victim by pulling on like the skin suit of a victim or and that sounds real gross to people, but man, there are some people out there, quote unquote reporters, that really crawl up the ass of victims in a
Yeah.
way that is demeaning and grotesque. And so I find it um, really fascinating. Fascinating is not the right word. I find it to be abject bullshit that, she comes for an actual member of the family that is herself a victim,
Mhm.
yet inhabits. So Lauren inhabits this space like she's part of the family. And it's like,
Mhm.
bitch, please. I
And
mean, mm,
the fact that she even went to the level of thinking that she needed to publicly or in a way go after Kresha in any kind of way, that alone showed her level. That narcissism level is so far off the charts
yeah.
because there was no reason you didn't go after everybody else in the way you did her.
Hmm.
And there was also the biggest reason though, because I think a lot of times too the conversation was getting lost. People really thought this was a creator war situation in the beginning, between me and Joe, Kresha, and hidden true crime, and because Kresha has a channel, and this is and I was seeing it in the comment sections. I'm like, whoa, 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 God darn, this is not nothing to do with a creator war bullshit.
Right.
God, please don't make it
Mm-mm.
about that because it's nothing to do with that.
Hmm.
You know, that was about one chasing clout for damn sure, but
Hmm.
it wasn't.
Hmm.
It was so much more than that. Kresha and Kay held information that wouldn't be uh, favorable for Lauren, and Lauren knew that. So that's why she went directly after those 2, and for some reason that it didn't make her look like a total jackass that she really is. It did for a lot of us,
Yeah.
right? But
Hmm.
not for a handful there, I guess, but
Why do you think that is, though? Because that's the thing I'm trying to
no.
wrap my head around. Because I'm like, y'all are for. To me, okay. So my theory, it's cult of personality. You throw and that's why I have such a problem with some of these folks out here. Crusher has her right to her platform to tell her family story. Lauren
Right.
doesn't. Lauren doesn't, in my opinion, because she tries to make herself out to be a journalist or whatever it was. But the thing is, you're not doing what used to be a noble cause any justice, because you're making a fool out of yourself and you're harming people in this at the same time. You're leaving, again, she's leaving. I can't imagine being the family, being Kay, Larry, and Cresha. And I don't know these folks, but I
It says
cannot.
social media phenomenon.
Well, it's
Uh,
bullshit. It's what
it
it
is
is.
bullshit, and it's a scary thing because the way I look at it is the people like that support that, right,
Mhm.
and don't think that that's okay. Um, there are also people out there supporting others that are doing things that it's okay as long as it's them, right? And
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
wow, okay, so where's our lines of what's really right and wrong, and where's morality? Do we even have that anymore? Do we jump on
Mhm.
bandwagons? Are we
Mhm.
too afraid to jump ship? Are we sometimes we are because of the retaliation alone? And
Mhm.
Lauren's situation, connection interruption, I think a little showed me. But anyway, I don't know what would cause people to continue to stand by that, even after hearing that hearing for themselves with the judge and everything. Um,
Mhm.
People like Connor coming out and doubling down with videos, telling us we're not empathetic and we don't understand stalking and we don't understand anything.
Who?
You know,
Who is this?
Megan Connor, Lori Vallow's
Oh,
cousin.
nope. Nope. Nope.
That
No
the whole
time.
thing is
Sorry.
just like, what kind of parallel universe are we living in suddenly? Where I've got Lori Vallow's cousin standing up next to Lauren going at Charles Vallow's niece for what?
I mean, there's certain things that, we're human. I'm human. I've made tons of mistakes in my life, and I try to own them when I'm made aware of them. What I
Yeah,
see here, however, is a very opportunistic, uh, you know, very self-absorbed person who's weaponizing. I mean, because this Megan Connor, I don't know much about her, but she I guess she's a tangential victim, right? I mean, of what happened here. However,
mm,
to see
yes,
I mean, you know what I mean? So it's
yeah.
like
No,
it's
because I what bothered me the most about that part of it all, and people
mm,
that I guess if people are gonna support her, they can do what they absolutely wanna do, but to come out and talk down to others in a way that um, telling me basically, if you watch the videos, that we aren't empathetic, we don't even understand court proceedings. And I'm
oh
like, do you know
sure.
how many? Damn, do you know how many I cover and how many documents I actually literally? This
Mm-mm,
is a real true crime channel. I don't know what everybody watches out there, but that crime drama, I don't know nothing about all that.
mm-mm,
We
mm-mm.
literally talk about true crime here. That's all I know. So I don't know what she's talking about when these videos come out. But she's Lori Vallow's cousin, and the
Mhm.
fact that that's who chose to come out and be your one of your loudest supporters, um, former
Again,
LDS along with Joe Schmo. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. That aspect bothers the shit out of me for some reason, and I can't let it go in my head. That
which part?
Megan Connor
Hmm.
and Joe Schmo are both ex-Mormon LDS,
Oh, I
according to
didn't
them,
know that about Joe. Oh,
okay?
interesting.
Raised Mormon, ex-Mormons, both of them.
Oof. Okay.
Became friends at some point behind the scenes. I don't really know how that happened. Maybe through Kresha, maybe through he was over there in that little Lori Vallow world. I was
Hmm.
letting him have at it. He was
Hmm.
covering Lori Vallow pre-trial. I was like, I'll let him have that one. I'm doing this, whatever. So I didn't do it. And he hooked up with all these Lori Vallow people, and he met Kresha, which was
Hmm.
great, but he met all the other people too. And then he ends up with, meeting Lauren down there in the Delphi. Shit,
Oh
whatever.
my God.
But they're both ex LDS. Lauren as LDS or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, the whole just the that part I can't. I'm like, why are y'all the ones doubling down on this support of her? And also, if you look into it, really look into it, the Mormon Church has an entire doctrine that they teach about copyright laws and how to protect them and yourself. It is taught to them from the time they're little
Oh,
until they're
really?
adult. Yes, Andy, I was floored when I read this document, and especially how protective. If I was to bring up one thing right now and show you guys a video that I found somewhere that the Mormons themselves, one of the churches or whatever they are, what if that they produced, they're going to strike me
Mm.
like a
Hmm.
hard strike, not a
Hmm.
warning or a copyright share bullshit. Hard
Hmm.
strike coming your way. And
That
I
explains
was
a
like,
lot, doesn't it?
yeah, it did to me when I read this a few weeks ago. I just haven't talked about it on a live yet. I was so over the Lauren drama part of
Right.
it all. I was like, I
Right.
can't. So, yeah, that bothered me. And knowing what I also know about Connor and Schmo, you
Hmm.
know,
Well,
and
and I was just going to say about the Connor thing, the Megan Connor thing. It's like when I say that she's a victim, she isn't in the sense that a member of her family did this horrific thing, and was her relation, whatever. But my thing is that when you compare the loss, I think that people's losses, um, in this case at least,
yeah,
the weight of loss, ma'am, favors Kay, Larry, and Cresha. So please, if
well,
that's disturbing to me, that
it is.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
When I got introduced to Megan through Joe, and I like, okay, and I knew we were very different women, very different women. I
Mhm,
cuss and shit and drink coffee.
mhm.
They're not. They were never. I didn't know Mormons couldn't drink coffee. I found that out
Yeah.
until I got to know Joe a little bit. And like, oh hell, that wouldn't have flew for me. I'd have
Mm-mm.
bailed a long time ago on that
Mhm.
situation. But anyway, um, peace out.
Mhm,
As soon as I got 18, I'm out of here. I need
mhm,
coffee. But well, I
mhm,
didn't start drinking coffee till I had a kid go to school.
mhm, mhm.
Like kindergarten starts early. Mama needs coffee.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, um, I'm gonna lose my train of thought and get sidetracked. Y'all are laughing in the chat. So it, I did lose my train of thought. Sorry, y'all. I did that.
Megan, you got introduced
Oh,
by, yeah.
so I was watching her videos, right? And I noted definitely a theme there. She's a very good girl, very the Mormon background, no longer a part of the church and doing her own thing. And but she's always talking about empaths and empathy and understanding people. And as the more I began to observe what I'm hearing,
Mhm,
it was almost like, aha, you want to make sure that we can all separate you from your cousin. Her what
mm.
she calls her Lori Vallow, my dumb cousin.
Oh God. I
Apples
think
don't fall
dumb,
far from trees.
but dumb, really? You don't think murderous or vile or
Conniver, yeah, yeah, murderous or vile. My dumb cousin.
oh God,
It's just dumb. What she did is just dumb.
mhm. Yeah. It's almost like well, I don't know enough about the situation, but I would have just kept my damn mouth shut or
Exactly.
been in service of the victims, which are the kids and obviously,
Yeah. Well, and one of the more things she did do that was the final straw for me was after, Cresha went live and
mhm.
Kay joined her and the show was struck,
Jesus.
um, during that live, Megan came out and said that she didn't approve of what Kay and Cresha had done and that she would handle it behind the scenes. And I'm like,
Ma'am?
wait a minute. You
Ma'am?
first of all, you thank you, ma'am. Sit all the way the fuck down with that shit. Or why'd you even come out here and say it publicly?
Yeah.
You're Lori Vallow's cousin, right?
Yeah.
And you just said out here in public you didn't like what Charles Vallow, the victim's
Uh-huh.
sister, just said,
Uh-huh.
and you'll handle it behind the scenes. Wow, that's rich, bitch.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that and the thing is that that's the part. So that's I mean, there's a lot of disconnects here, but when we talk about that social media thing, and I'm not like, I mean, I mean, like 60 some videos. I'm just some old bag out here living my life in the world and thought I'd dip my toe here in this
Yeah.
arena. And I think that there's a lot of good that potentially can come out of this medium, but man,
Mhm.
it breeds, a lot of people that really enjoy listening to themselves
Yep.
and do enjoy the drama that can come along with the social media bullshit. And I think that for me, in this particular case, it gets away from, and you and I spoke about this a little bit, and there is the real damage that's done to the families and the victims and the folks that Hidden True Crime is striking and taking to
Mhm.
court and doing all this shit and wasting time and resources of all these different municipalities and all their cops and shit. But the harm here too is that the bigger issue is that we lose sight. And for me, what's most compelling about this not only is this bullshit that Lauren is putting out there, but also the true damage that's happening here. And you know, you and I also spoke a little bit about my feelings about, you know, Ye Olde Murder Sheet, and I think that there's some real similarities here. And I think that what gets lost is the reporting, the actual storytelling. And when I say storytelling, I mean like actually doing the homework and going and pulling your numbers. And like I'm going through a whole process right now trying to figure out roughly how much Lauren has cost, you know, Arizona, Utah, all these different places by all
Yeah.
this bullshit police calls. So, you know, and it gets caught in this personality stuff. I don't give a shit what she does in her personal life. I
Me
don't give a
either.
shit. But man, when you drag it out and you start striking people, smaller creators who are just out there, or Krusha, for Christ's sake, you know, whatever. I had one of my streams taken down the other day when I was doing a read through of the
Oh yeah.
copyright stuff. Yeah. And so, but my point is that that shit is designed to chill our speech. And it's like, it's much like the trial tours. Ma'am, no, it's a public, right?
God, yes.
Absolutely no. And so I just,
Well,
this,
and
it's,
that goes back to her even saying, you know, to come out and right out of the gate pretend like this was somehow Law and Crime's fault about going to stream a trial.
give me a
You don't want the
break.
trial tourist to come, right? That's
Mm-mm.
what that's ma'am, that's ridiculous argument from a journalist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was the most and people were like, "Oh, not everybody, a lot of us called that out, right?"
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
that little core group, and, you know, what are you gonna do? That's like the people that they call the pro burgers or whatever, and then you
Oh.
got your anti-Karen Reeves and your free Karen Reeves, and you got your Delphi
Mm-hmm.
people and your whatevers, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the he did it people. It's always gonna be that way, and I get it. And no, some of these creators can apparently do whatever the hell they want, and people are
Mm-hmm.
still gonna flock to them. Um, so I
I
don't
don't
know.
get it.
I
I don't
don't
get it,
either,
man.
girl. It's like I've been watching this
Mm-mm.
social media thing. I've been calling it a social media experiment since I kind of introduced myself to full on social media at the very beginning of Delphi and Idaho 4
Mm-hmm.
because Rick Allen was arrested 1 month before Brian Koberger.
Okay.
1 month.
Mm-hmm.
And Rick Allen was sent to a state prison almost immediately, within days, and Koberger was sent to a county jail to enjoy vegan meals and a suit and tie to every hearing. When I
Mm.
saw Rick Allen, this man came out in shackles, dirty suits,
Mm-hmm.
looking like I don't even know what. And I'm thinking, what did he go? Why was he in the damn prison? Oh, safekeeping bullshit, whatever, you know. So there you go. And the weirdness that the dedicated people that came along to those 2 cases, right? It
Mm-hmm.
took me a while to navigate those waters, to figure out who was what in both of those worlds. They were very separate. And I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
figure out why, because everybody over here in the Koberger case was screaming about Koberger's rights, his constitutional rights. When you gave him an argument about, well, the PCA may have probable cause. Oh, it's constitutional rights. I'm like, well, what rights are being, show me what rights are being offended right now, right now. But did you see Rick Allen?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like,
Yeah.
who? Oh,
Yeah.
that guy, he killed them 2 little girls. Like, well, we don't know. Same situation.
Right.
Innocent until
Right.
proven guilty.
Uh-huh.
Why is it
Yep.
different for Brian Koberger and not for Rick Allen? Was it because of their looks? Was it because of the ages of the people involved in the crimes that were murdered? I don't know what caused
I
one to be a much higher profile case over the other and to get because to me, Idaho 4 garnered so much more attention.
Oh yeah, I think so. I mean, retrospectively, I wasn't, in the I really didn't know much about the Richard Allen case until I started taking a piss out of the murder sheet because they're such terrible human beings, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
But not, barely an attorney and not a journalist. But I think that what brought me into that was and this might get a little bit at where I think that what the difference is that the narratives that are set and who sets the narratives in those circumstances. I think the nature of the crime also probably unfortunately has something to do with it. And there's the pitchfork crowd that comes out. I mean, I'm very much a due process gal. And
yeah.
if people want to mess with me on that, go ahead. I don't care. The scummiest dirtbag on the face of the earth deserves due process of law. Full
Oh, I
stop.
agree.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that from my perspective, seeing the way that there was hardly any regional or national coverage of the Delphi case that afforded the actual foundational principles of due process, whereas in the case of like the Koberger or even Karen Reed, Karen Reed's a pretty white lady, right?
Mhm.
And then you have Koberger, who's got good lawyers, and the victims are a different age. I think that does factor into it,
Yeah,
from a media perspective, anyway.
yeah.
But but
And he
but
looked good on paper, Koberger did,
mhm,
as
mhm,
far as his
mhm.
college career and all that, but
But
it
they
there
sucked all the light so I think that there's an information vacuum, you
yeah,
know?
I think you're right. It's the way the information's presented, I think.
Mhm,
I think sometimes I don't know if legacy media, mainstream media, whatever,
mhm.
I don't know what causes them to shy away from certain stories
I
or
don't know,
certain
man.
aspects of a story, but because the mainstream media didn't cover all the Idaho 4 bullshit that was being covered on YouTube.
Mhm,
They didn't touch that with a 10-foot pole, and boy, was it a lot. There was a
mhm.
lot in Delphi.
Oh.
I was in both worlds, and I was like, "Man, that's what's happening here," you know?
Oh,
I dipped out of Delphi for a few months because it was not, a place I wanted to be for a while, and
right.
that's being saying lightly what I needed to really say, but it was
Mhm,
just better to back off for a while from that
mhm,
space, so I did, and I geared back up closer to trial, but it's crazy to me how there's, like it felt like also there's, like, a automatic divide with Koberger, Delphi, Karen Reed. You either gotta be all in on the innocent or all in on the guilt, and I don't know what causes that. What kind of effect does media coverage does it have any at all? Or is the messiness all on social media because we have so many people and personalities colliding at one time
mm.
over cases? And you know what? My reasonable and your reasonable doubt may be 2 different things.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. But I think that from like when you're talking about the mainstream media, I mean, the media's been dead for a long time,
So long.
unfortunately. And I've bemoaned it for well north of, a decade plus, since all the regional and local reporting outlets got sucked up into conglomerates. I think that's certainly a part of it. There's not enough time, money to go around to support the kind of work that really needs to be done on these things. But but I also think that there isn't enough understanding of what you call like or like the basic actual due processes. And I think that the media doesn't give a shit anymore about being legitimate in a way that can actually competently report those things, because it just moves too fast. There's too many that are bought by one person. All those things feed into it. And so again, there's this vacuum. Back in the day, you used to have court reporters, right? And I'm talking about actual dedicated on staff people going down from newspapers to cover just the court systems. And there is no more of that shit. there's no more of that shit, and that sucks because those people had experience, they had reach, they knew people, they had sources, they knew how the system worked, and you got a better understanding as the public. I I don't see that anymore.
No.
I just don't.
No, I grew up in the '70s, right? I was born in the late
Same.
'60s. I grew up in the '70s. I'm, like, from Barbara Walters era,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, Diane Sawyer,
You
you know,
bet.
2020,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I remember being young and my mother. So, think about that. I didn't have cable TV, guys. That shit wasn't even available until, like, later on, but,
I only have 4 channels. That was
right, that's
including
it.
PBS.
We had the networks, and that was
Hmm.
it. So we
Hmm.
got what we got, but there was some good reporting happening in
Hmm.
some of these shows, and I was always intrigued by it, wanted to know more, and my mom was the same way, and especially if it was, like, 2020 or somebody doing a crime show, I
Hmm.
would be right there. I was her little night owl. All the
Hmm.
other kids go to bed, I'm up with mama, and I'm watching this shit with her. I don't do politics at all, but when I was young, growing up, I watched it with my mom. I
Hmm.
understood her views, and she understood both sides, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? We
Hmm.
always had conversations based around that kinda stuff. So that's the kinda mom I grew up with. So I was exposed to this stuff all, and I'm like you, I want due processes for everybody across
Hmm.
the board. We can't pick and choose when it's okay today and not tomorrow.
Yeah.
What's good for Brian Koberger is absolutely the best thing for Rick Allen as well.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
probably would have liked a jail cell in a county.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And Lord knows that I think the walls are going to come tumbling down in that case, but that's just me.
God, the appeal finally is happening,
Well,
to
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I haven't even really got a show underway about that yet, and, there's so much coming down with that case, with all the
Mhm.
documents that's been coming down and all the exhibits, and I've been trying to keep up, following a little bit what our peeps on Twitter are doing with it and
Right.
looking at the Google files and stuff,
Yep.
but I just haven't, and because I said after the trial, I probably wouldn't cover a lot of Delphi until some movement in the appeals started,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And we're seeing a little bit of that now, so I'm hopeful, but
Yeah.
I've always got a red flag up. It
Oh,
never
hell yeah.
it
No.
never go it's in my
Mm-mm.
way sometimes, but yeah,
Mm-mm.
it's better
No.
to have it there than not have one at all.
Oh yeah. No, no. I mean, yeah. Yeah. We'll see
Yeah,
what happens, but
yeah, yeah, we
um,
can always see, and that would another thing, it's like people like Lauren Mathias, they want to trick us into thinking they care about
they
the
don't.
law and
Mm-mm.
she because she claimed that's why she went down to Delphi. Because I know who covered Delphi pre-Delphi heavy,
Mhm.
and things of that nature,
Mhm.
and she wasn't one of them. She
Mm-mm.
covered stuff, but not no, she done her regular stuff. Wasn't no Delphi, that's too much. So, especially in the way it needed to be looked at, she wasn't touching
Mhm.
that, right? Now she's all of a sudden gonna go to Delphi. Why? Because you're a trial tourist, ma'am.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Ooh, oh shit! You need some merch for her. Oh
Ooh.
yeah, but that's a real, honestly, you're right. I didn't even think about it, but you're absolutely right. Showing up and at least it wasn't like fucking Nancy Grace who showed up for
Oh
half a
my god.
day. Don't even.
Jesus Christ.
Oh
That
Lord
lady's
have
look,
mercy.
I
Mm-mm,
know her from way back in the day in the '80s. Okay, so I've been through it with some Nancy Grace, but when
mm-mm.
she plopped that damn desk down in front of the Idaho 4 house in the snow outside with her fur coat on, I was like, "Nancy,
uh,
what the
uh-uh.
fuck are you doing, lady? Get."
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, gross. But
Gross is right.
I
So
mean,
tell
and I
us
mean,
again how y'all are here for victims and it's not for a
mm,
click of you and a fucking dollar sign. Tell me
mhm,
again. I don't give a shit if people make money on the internet. Even people
mm-mm,
who call out people who make money are making money, calling
mhm,
out people who make the money. That makes sense to y'all? Did y'all follow that? Because they hoping y'all didn't. They are really hoping you didn't just follow what I said.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I see you. I've always seen it, and I don't understand why others can't. Don't be like Jen Soto and ignore them red flags, y'all. Come on.
Yeah.
We preach
Yeah.
that shit. Um, I just, you know, even when for a lot of times the victims' families are the only ones that can speak for the victims to get their story out there. And what story could they possibly tell? They can't tell us what happened to them at that point in time when their lives were lost. Unfortunately, a lot of times their body can forensically, if we got good people on the scene
Mm-hmm.
doing due diligence and not making bad decisions at the crime scene.
No
Let's hope for the
shit.
best.
Mm-hmm.
So, we got all that, but we don't all the extra stuff. And then how we're seeing that a lot of like Lauren didn't cover Delphi from the beginning of that case and deep dive it and cover all the docs in between and get to trial and earn that what I felt like was trust to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You earned when I say earned, you needed to earn my trust for me to come listen to you every freaking night
Mm-hmm.
describe what happened in court that day because there was no camera in sight.
Yeah.
So luckily, we did have options other than Lauren.
Mm-hmm. Good ones, with
Good
Andrea and
ones.
Bob and Lawyer Lee.
Andrea, Bob, and Lee,
Mm-hmm.
and those are the 3 I tuned into because I knew excuse me, I know how long Bob had been on the case,
Mm-hmm.
reading documents. If there was ever a new document read going on in Delphi, I was in Bob's chat.
Mm-hmm.
I may not have been there for all the discussions and stuff that were happening, but if there was a document read happening, that I'm there. And so, because everybody around here knows I gotta have me some documents.
Yeah.
Without them, I'm lost. I love my documents, so I was all up in the documents. But she goes there for one reason: it was the place to go. That's
Right.
the next big trial.
Right.
How could you not go?
Right.
Be honest. Like, duh.
They had
You
already made up their mind too. I
Mhm.
mean, truly, I took, one of the first like screaming videos I did was talking about HTC and how Dr. John, who Christ on a crutch, I'm sorry, folks, but I mean, no, 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 sir. He, um, abomination, but it was before the trial, and there had been an incident that back in like 2015 or 16, Mr. Allen, his wife had called the police because he had been threatening to harm himself with a gun, and he had left the house, and she was concerned, and it was reported in the local paper as a domestic incident, not as domestic violence. And I want to be very clear here. I make no excuse
Yes.
for domestic violence. It was not. He was suicidal, frankly,
Yes.
and Mrs. Allen was very, very concerned, and took care of it and got him checked into a facility. Well, Dr. John, who cannot get enough of the smell of his own farts, I'm sorry,
Mm.
but that man, I went to high school with that man, and they enjoy themselves way too fucking much. And he gets on there with his journalist wife and says that there was a domestic violence incident. And I'm like, my hair is just on fire at this point. And I'm like, I got to go see what this is about. So I go pull the actual article on it, and sure enough, if you would have taken journalist's wife if you had done your due diligence, right? If you'd done your due diligence as a journalist, you would have pulled up a report from the newspaper that referred to exactly what was going on. It wasn't violence, sir. It wasn't a domestic violence
No, it
situation.
wasn't.
And so
Mm.
he went on to say, so so when she came, so I think, and what made me think of this is you talking about her coming into Delphi and just like, soaking up the space like she owned the place. Well, they had their minds made up because they went on and were saying, well, people say he doesn't have a criminal history. Well, here's this domestic violence thing. And, he's not an out of the blue killer. And he's making all of these diagnoses from
Misrepresenting.
afar.
Man, he's got the heat. He's like the man. These armchair psychologists, can we call them that? They want to say
Yes.
armchair sleuth, armchair
Mhm.
investigators. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
sir, you are an armchair psychiatrist, apparently.
Yeah.
And I heard another one last night.
Oh,
Well,
Lord.
yesterday was a different subject, different doctor.
Okay.
And I always evaluate what this guy says because I 9 times out of 10 don't agree.
Mhm.
Sometimes I do. And I'm like, good point, doc. But damn, doc, really? It's one of those moments I had yesterday when I was in bed lounging,
Mhm.
reviewing shit. So these
Mhm.
doctors are weird. When you, like you said, him coming out and diagnosing something, knowing very little and
And
misrepresenting what that actually was, like
that
you said,
part.
that was not a domestic abuse
Correct.
incident where he was beating up on his wife. It
Mm,
wasn't that.
mm-mm.
Um, and there's
No.
documentation of all that. She's not wrong about that.
Right.
But why do you need the extra to do all that? That's not going to make me lean toward, well, that's your guy then, because you said, because she said it was a domestic violence incident. He had to be the one that killed those little girls.
That's right. And so but that's part of that narrative building. So when
Mhm.
she tries to say that she comes in to Delphi with her eyes, with willing to be willing to hear evidence, no, ma'am, you're not, because you and your husband went on this live. And after John said that, after Dr. John said that, predicated on the wrong information that she could have easily fact checked for him if she was an actual fucking journalist, he went on to proclaim that this was, the history of violence. And she went, Lauren Mathias went, boom, like, boom, there it is. And I'm like, you know what? You walked in that you're lying to the people that are following you. If
Yeah.
you're representing that you're showing up at a case and you have an open mind, yet months before you and your husband are misrepresenting facts and going boom like a teenager about a man's life and two little girls' lives, gross. Get out
And
of here.
it was obvious to me, I think because she would go live, like, I think during lunch, she would run down there and
Mm.
sneak a live in or whatever she was doing, and I would see this stuff, right, coming on the feed and stuff like that, and then, I think I watched a couple of times to see what she was saying about the trial, and it became apparent to me that I knew she wasn't there because she was seeking justice.
Right.
Kind of shown she was there seeking views on the show
Yeah.
because she needs to cover the hottest trial and go be a trial tourist.
Mm-hmm.
Duty calls. She said on that video in Boise, "I'm the breadwinner. I gotta go."
Unreal.
She goes,
Mm-hmm.
and while she's there, she takes on Grayson full time. Apparently, that's kind of talked about. Takes her back to the Airbnb, and also tells all of us that were watching on that one video or live or whatever it was about how perplexed she was about going home for Halloween with the kiddo versus staying in Delphi. Because Delphi needed her.
No.
The truth needed her. I'm like, well, fuck. Uh,
She couldn't find the truth with a map, a
uh,
compass,
It was it was
GPS.
cringe, it was cringe, and it's
Mhm.
like, "Chick, it's gonna be okay, it's Delphi, there's people there, run home, do what you gotta do, I don't need to hear all that extra mess," you
Mhm.
know? But she presented herself as going for the wrong reasons,
Yeah.
and she didn't go there with this, I don't care what her reasons were personally, I don't really care what her personal thought is on Rick Allen. That shouldn't even be a factor if she's going to cover it, 'cause that's her job. She's gotta go.
Mhm.
Just go cover it then. Really don't even form an opinion, or if you want to do that, I don't care, but she's gotta come out and present it one way when it was obvious it wasn't. Because she began to talk about in the beginning of her coverage, it was like, okay, well, here's what's today happened. Today, this happened. And like a couple of days into it, maybe midway, she did one show, and I remember watching it going, oh, that chick thinks Alan did it. Like, hands down, did it. It was
Oh,
obvious
really?
to me. Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Because, guys, the evidence got, like, trying to make it like the jury could tip because of this, but maybe not. Like, she's on the fence with it. But it was obvious to me. And I don't, like I said, I don't care, but you misrepresenting things like
Hmm.
that. You know,
Yeah.
I could have come out here, and when I started this channel, I almost avoided Idaho for like the plague in the very beginning. Wasn't nothing happening, thank God, in the case when I did launch the channel. Stuff on Stearns was happening and things like that.
Oh,
So
Lord.
as things began to happen, but y'all don't think that I knew when I came out to cover anything Idaho 4 related, I have a choice to make, just like Delphi. Guilty or not guilty? Well, fuck, I don't know.
Mm-mm.
We haven't had a trial yet, and all I've seen so far was this probable cause affidavit and some documents. So we ain't got there yet. You know, that's where I stand with these cases,
Hmm.
all the way through them. That's where of course, I'm going to form opinions throughout, and we're going to talk about those and have theories here and discuss. But to come out and just push a narrative wholeheartedly and not even have a conversation. It's just weird to me that that even happens. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, she's a trial tourist. I think you nailed.
I think that,
Honestly.
yeah, well, so that is that why it's happening across the board? Is it all a money play for all of them?
Oh, I think.
Everybody out there being messy, every
Mm-hmm.
single person and channel creator, whatever podcast, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody out there being messy, and their personal lives are discussed, and their
Oh, God.
everything's being leaked. What's happening? We're not even talking about the cases you were covering at this point. To
Yeah.
some degree, I guess we are, but not in the right way, in the right context. Is she wanted it? She wants the internet to let this be a war between her and Krista Creator bullshit, but it goes much deeper than that.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. No, and I mean, and thing is that I think that messy people can't help but drag their mess. Now, listen, I know
Yeah,
from whence I speak. I was a messy person.
once
Yeah,
upon a time.
years and years ago. And there's also people that just fundamentally are incapable of being honest, truly,
Yeah,
and even to themselves. And so I don't know why those people continue to fail up like they do, but they do. And I think that if you're messy in your life, I guess it spills out, or you want it to spill out, or you want to try to form some parasocial relationship with your audience. I don't know what it is exactly,
it's
but it's
yeah,
pretty obvious with some of them. It really
yeah.
is. And
It really is. These communities form. There's nothing wrong with community and creating a community and nurturing a community, right? I used to
sure.
work with NFT teams, and one of the things was community management because they took
Hmm.
those communities seriously. It would be in discords and all these things. So, and just doing that and keeping your community safe was one of the
Hmm.
biggest things because we have to have security in the NFT space. You ain't stealing my shit today out my crypto wallet, kind of thing. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right, right. Hmm.
Hacking into the discords. We're not idiots. We got professionals in here locking us down, kind of thing. So it was all about community. Then I get over here into true crime full time on social media, and there's different communities, right? But I don't, and I've always been a people watcher. I've
Hmm.
always been different than most people. Like I react differently to things. I think about things differently, and I'm like, oh, they all see it that way, and I'm like, okay. So then I start observing them because they all see it weird, really different than I do.
Hmm.
So now I got to figure out why is it just me? You know, luckily through life I have found my tribe and realized it's not just me, right? There's
Right,
others
right.
like me out there. So as I watch this social media phenomenon, as I call it, between all these communities, I don't know what the driving force is in the end that makes them have undying support, even when red flags are being waved in your face.
Right. I
Kind of
mean,
like when Joe was on that live sidestepping every question, there were still those
Lord.
undying people in chat. I'm like, wow, that's just a tiny example, right?
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of some, I mean, and there's analogs throughout just regular life, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but, and I think maybe it's just me being this old bag out in the world, but it's just, I don't hang my dirty laundry out like that. Now, I will have a go at people who I believe, after doing thorough research, deserve it. But I just, I think that there's people that this becomes their lives, that
Mhm.
becomes their lives. It becomes all about the eyebrows of it all. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
You're striking small channels. You're costing people time, and maybe not money. I mean, people making money here and there on some of these small creators and stuff. But you're also, like, think about the Woodcock family. Think about even Christina,
Yeah.
who she dragged. I mean, my God,
She did.
why?
And
To
and for
what
what?
end?
For
Right.
what? And even in that video in the Boise, body cam, she calls it cyber bullying or whatever. And maybe I don't agree with what Christina went and did, creating a little TikTok. That's
Yeah.
what people apparently do these days.
Mm,
I've seen a lot of channels get attacked on TikTok. Or, I
mhm.
used to have people all the time. This I don't even remember who the account was. um, Someone used to send me videos of Gray Hughes getting stopped in Idaho 4 by the cops for speeding when he
Oh
was
my
down there doing a video on Idaho 4. And I'm like, why do you keep sending me this ridiculous video? You know why?
God.
They wanted me to run to my YouTube and put it out there. I'm like, I
Who
don't give a
gives a
flying
shit?
shit.
God, I
I write
don't give
about
a
no Gray Hughes to start with, especially that
right.
old dude riding down the fucking road getting stopped by the
Uh,
law today. I
uh-uh.
quit sending me and quit sending me
Mm-mm.
your blob movies.
Mm-mm. It's like, I'll just, and that's another thing. It's like, I think, but drama begets drama, right? And so
Yeah.
there are these, I do think, that maybe got started in one way or another, but just, cannot help but get into that drama. And I think that there's varying degrees of it.
Yeah.
I do believe that. I mean, you've got the eyebrows over on Turtle Boy, which I'm not going to even get into because I don't even care. But which is,
PTSD, stop it.
yeah, it's like, please. So it's like, so there's that is just seems like, in my opinion, a real juvenile pursuit,
Yeah.
uh, which is whatever. All right, he's got an audience, great, but then there's also people like, hidden true crime, and again, I always go back to the murder sheet folks,
Mhm.
who have done real damage in lives, in through leveraging the legal system, against people, and myself included.
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
you know
That's the thing with between the murder sheet and hidden true crime is the way they chose to weaponize things.
hmm
And they also, in my opinion, had very different motives for what they were doing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Different methods. There was a whole different play because I've seen people in comments and different various things over the past several weeks, month, whatever it's been, linking the Delphi and the hidden true crime of it
yeah,
all, and it's like that.
yeah,
The Delphi stuff's a tiny, tiny part of what triggered what these girls are pissed about with Lauren.
yeah.
Y'all, that when Delphi gets spoke about there, that's all that was for, to give context behind how this all started, right? Was what because of they were all in Delphi together. It had nothing to do with Delphi itself.
hmm
So stop it. If it had to do with Delphi, that's different, but it didn't. That's just where this started, in my opinion. Not started, but that particular event that triggered the I told her you said something bad because I don't want Lindsay or Grayson in the house tonight or whatever the hell it was, bullshit. And that's also where Joe interacted with Grayson and Lauren.
mm
And
Okay.
he met her there, and shit like that, and he got a little starstruck. I know because I was there.
Lord.
I was talking to him all the time back then. I know exactly what went down in Delphi. I've always known. Nothing went down that I know of, but they met. He fell in love with little Grayson for some reason, and
Excuse
Lauren
me?
apologized. Yeah, he's like, she's the sweetest thing. We all need a Grayson. I kept hearing that. I'm a control freak. I don't like giving up the reins. I will if I need to, but I'm private like you. I don't put my shit
Mm-mm.
out there. I mean, I'll talk about stuff, but not. I just don't. And but okay, we all need a Grayson in our lives. Like, well, okay, like you're some big giant channel, and we just need a
Mm-mm.
producer. I don't need all that. What am I going to do with all
Mm,
that, right?
mm-mm.
So he
Jesus
had an attachment to Grayson from that point on. It was
Hmm.
weird.
It is
Um,
weird.
it
One
was
of
it
the
was because I kept hearing that part of it, that and Grayson's so sweet.
hmm.
And then all this came out and the
Mm-mm.
tears and the waterworks with Miss Grayson, and I'm like, that's the sweet girl?
Oh dear.
Okay. She's
Yeah.
terrified girl, you mean? I
Well,
was so terrified, yeah, she'd get that shot of tequila that night.
oh Lord have mercy. I got so many. Yeah, I don't that's a mess. That's just, and the thing is that we may not know what is behind all of this.
Right.
There may be issues that we cannot see anything, but that's part of being a messy individual,
It
right?
honestly started so long before that shit in Delphi with those girls getting mad at one another.
Oh, I'm sure.
It
I'm sure.
started back if you go back to the Gigi of it all, and Kay knew back in the spring something. Lauren had already started way back when, and those messages about Crescia. All of that started long before this stuff with those girls, and
Mhm.
those girls knew about it.
Mhm.
Somebody was telling Kay what Lauren was saying about people behind their backs. Kay found out what she said about her daughter, Crescia,
I
being
just
dangerous and all.
I
So
just
Kay's
ugh.
yeah. So there you go. That's the worst part of it all. And Crescia spoke about that on her live and recently again on another live, how that caused a rift between her and her mother. That pissed me off to no end.
Holy shit.
Like
I
I
didn't know
wanted
that.
to yes, because Crescia also speaks of now listen, this is a family who just lost their loved ones.
Yeah.
What the hell do we do going forward? All these people want a piece of us right now
Yep.
and want to talk to us. Who
Mhm.
do we trust and talk to? So there you go.
Mhm.
Now, for some reason, Crescia got a vibe about Lauren, and she
Mhm.
discussed it with her mother, and Kay just like blew it off, whatever. So
Mhm.
Lauren let it go. I mean, I'm sorry, Crescia let it go. And then Crescia talked about how it really caused a rift between her and her mom about this whole Lauren thing. And now
Mhm.
then this shit comes out. Really, Lauren? You don't even mind that you may have caused an actual problem between a mother and a daughter concerning a murder case that involved their loved one. What
Mhm.
what what are you doing right now with your hands even in that?
Mhm. Yeah.
It didn't make any sense to me. And you're not even supposed to be that close to the family because when you
Mm-mm.
start getting that what these creators who want to keep reaching out to all these family members, oh, I got the interview with so and so's family member. Keep it up. Because
Mm-mm.
the closer you get to those families and the more you talk to them on the daily, you now have tunnel vision.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I can't trust anything that got coming out your mouth.
It's interesting that, the crime con thing is a real encapsulation with whether it's with HTC or whatever. I mean, it because a good friend of mine, and I've mentioned this before, is her daughter was murdered a little over 20 years ago, brutally in her apartment in Tulsa. And she and I became friends through, I was trying to help just do research and stuff, background stuff for her as she was, navigating, trying to get DNA tested, all of these things, that a cold case goes through. And
Mhm.
she had started going to Crime Con, and she had enough distance from the incident of her daughter's murder from the time she went to CrimeCon to know. She's like, Andy, it's a popularity contest and I hate it, but it gets me attention. So
Yeah.
she at least had some space and time from it, because she and I would talk about it, and I'm like, oh shit, I hate you have to do that. She's like, I know, I hate it too,
Yeah.
but that's
I
exactly what
saw a
it
little
is.
bit of your interview with her, and
Yeah, she's
or
good
when she,
people.
yeah, was she on your show? So I can't remember if it was a live
She
you were on that she came up for a minute, but that struck me too because it's that damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Because you hear a lot of times these parents are catching hell for even going to crime con. Well,
Mhm.
yeah, well, they need to keep the stories out there if there's no one caught yet or a body's not found, and just in case. But for her to understand though what it was really all about
Mhm.
empowers her to know
Yes,
just to leave it there when she leaves, right?
absolutely.
Versus getting sucked into this repeat big panel every year full of
Yep.
bullshit.
Well, yeah, and that's why, I mean, I think that CrimeCon is needs to go away. I think honestly, if you want to talk about, I mean, I don't know. I think that it perpetuates this idea of, law enforcement can do no bad. We're here for the victims, but by the way, we're going to parade you in front of some people and make a buttload of money off of you in a
Uh-huh.
circus like atmosphere. And there's people, and so the people that maybe don't have enough time and distance, like my friend Maggie, who sees it for the bullshit that it is, but does it anyway because she is driven to do it, get caught up. Maybe, I mean, I don't know personally. I haven't been in that position, thank God. But it's disgusting to me what happens there, and the gods that we make and the people that we praise, in that situation, who don't deserve it, versus you know not enabling this bullshit that the creator gets to be on stage, or you get to have all these awards and all this made up
Yes.
bullshit and mockery out of this. I'm
Well,
sorry, nonsense.
it is, and I saw when I met Joe, I met him in my chat,
Hmm.
Delphi.
Okay.
So noticed him and Bob's chat a little bit, and I'm like, I don't know this guy. I asked someone, you know much about this guy? No, but good, decent dude. We don't know. See him in chat, whatever.
Hmm.
So a little while goes by, and he's just in chat. And he's got pretty good same views as I do on Delphi, whatever. So he ends up coming up and we
Hmm.
start talking. And that's how we became friends. But I saw over time, and he didn't even have a channel yet, just starting.
Hmm.
And me and my mod Butterfly were like cheering him on. Go start your channel, dude. Do
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you know?
Hmm.
And then we knew he was from Indiana.
Hmm.
He had talked about maybe doing Delphi or whatever down there because he close by and whatever. So he did all that. But over time, it felt like, Lori Vallow happened, and it wasn't he hadn't even been on there but a few months. I don't even know how many months. I don't even know how long Joe was on channel was on before he started covering Lori Vallow. But he was like, I called it late to the party because we'd already been through some Lori Vallow trials out in Idaho, and a lot of us knew a lot of stuff already. But he was new to it, and that was fine. So they're unpacking it, and all that. But that's when he met Lauren, and you could tell that he was starstruck over that. He
Hmm.
met, I think it was Josh Ritter.
Oh Lord.
Ritter was one of the ones who played Joe's video of where one of the jurors in the Lori Vallow case was interviewed right after the verdict, and he makes a comment, and he says about knowing about her past convictions. Well, they were not supposed to know. Didn't come into
Mm-hmm.
court. How did you know about that conviction? That Joe highlights that and
Uh-huh.
does a little video on that. He highlights the shit out of it, and he's so proud of it. And I was like, dude, you know what? If there's an actual investigation, and that guy did know, that's a mistrial. You just
Hmm.
highlight the mistrial for Lori
Hmm.
Vallow. That remember Charles Vallow, the guy you went to cry, you cried for Charles Vallow on a live one day.
Hmm.
So that was weird, this that you could tell. And I don't know if it was like a money grab, like I'm gonna become famous and I'll get on court TV too, kind of thing.
Maybe. I mean, maybe that's what people aspire to. I don't,
I
and that
think so.
could be a big part of it. Truly, it might be that. I mean, it as weird as it sounds, it might be that simple. That
It
people want to
for
be
that one,
famous
I
or
think
some
it
shit.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
For that one, it definitely was because, I mean, he
Hmm.
ordered that little, media pass off of a website. I
Oh
call it the
Lord.
Bullhorn Betty pass.
Mhm.
So he gets one from a website because he didn't want to sit in the back of the courtroom. He wanted to sit up there with the big dogs of the real media.
Uh,
It wasn't good enough to just to be in the courtroom anymore. We got to be up there
what?
with, rubbing elbows with the Nate Eaton and, hidden true
Um,
crime lady over here and
mhm.
whoever else is there today.
Gross. Again,
It's
I
like,
can't. It's like
yeah.
I weird.
So, that was a big part of what his whole angle, because there wasn't much going on upstairs there. There was no super deal angle there, but the ex-Mormon thing bothers me, and the sticking well, the only thing that bothers me, I think they're trained to act a certain way, right? That was my whole point, I guess, with the three of them being the Mormon LSD community people. Their brains are trained to think a certain way.
Mhm.
And it's weird as shit. And they're all because that was the three biggest, loudest supporters.
Mhm.
Even that old lady quieted down over there on that one web sleuth chick or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. She kind of quieted down and went on about her business, as far
Mhm.
as I know. The Krama channels, of course, still ran with it. But then you got the Joe and Megan over here just going 90 to nothing for this lady.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that they're probably, I think that some of that can be said for pretty much any organized religion. I mean, I grew up
Oh,
Roman
yeah.
Catholic, girl. I mean, my
Yeah.
God. But I think you're right though that there could be something. I don't know, maybe some sort of even unaware of their own allegiance. But I think that
Yeah.
I just find it distasteful in the extreme that Lori Vallow's cousin is making any like get Kresha and that family's name out of your mouth, ma'am.
Exactly.
Uh-uh.
Why would you even have a comment on it?
Jog on, ma'am. Jog on.
I mean, you can just not get on the internet. You don't
Yeah.
even have to say a word. You don't have to go to bat for your dear friend Lauren, over you gotta know the look here. You're Lori Vallow's cousin, for God's
My,
sake.
my
I know
God.
she's been screaming on the internet how we all need to separate that. That's what Lori did, my dumb cousin. I'm over here empathetic and over my Mormonism and all the things. I'm not like her. Okay, you're
Mm-mm.
really driving that home, but okay. W Is that all you talk about?
I
Because
mean,
that's what I see when I go over there and look at anything she's done. It's all about that. Like, I don't need a lesson today in how to have empathy and stuff.
mm-mm.
It's all weird. But it's I can't believe that when the way that Lauren set up that family, Charles Vallow's family, because she knew if she could get her claws into that family, because Kay and Larry are gonna open up to people. That's just who they are.
Mhm.
They're good people. They're normal, everyday Southern people from Louisiana. I'm from
Oh.
Northwest Florida. I'm below the
Mhm.
Mason-Dixon line. I was raised Southern Baptist. I'm in the
Oh.
Bible Belt.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
raised on riverbanks and such. Um, so I know how to get to Louisiana. I've been there,
Mhm.
right? But we all have but they're just good people. I fell in love with Kay and Larry. There was nothing not to like about Kay and Larry Woodcock. You know, they talked about their family history with Lori and how they became Lori and Charles became the parents of JJ and how all of that, all of it, right? So, but while she's doing that, Kay said during that live, and this is really one thing that struck me. I know because like I said, I began to get to know that family through what Lauren was doing in her little videos, right?
Mhm.
And I could appreciate that part because it was literally the family with their videos and pictures.
Oh.
But Kay
Mhm.
said during that live something that really struck me, that she noticed back before all this came to light that the content Lauren was releasing, she was really promoting her relationship with that family
Yeah. Mhm.
that Kay didn't feel was there. And packaging it up in a neat little bow and presenting it to all of her little watchers and viewers, people like
Ugh.
me,
Yeah.
as she's got some special friendship and bond with this family. She had to go there on top of, here's an interview with the family. They were nice enough and gracious enough to share these images and videos with us. She couldn't leave it at that. She
Mhm.
doubled down, and I thought that was a little weird to have the type of relationship she appeared to have with them. Do you know what I mean? She crossed
Oh, it's well, but it's contrived, right? And so it's, I mean, from my perspective, like I can't even think of her as a journalist because there is such thing as trauma informed journalism, and you do not cross that line with victims. You allow them to tell the story that they want and or need to tell, and there's many steps to go through in order to do that kind of work appropriately. I don't know how that even applies in like the new media environment. I've got no real idea, but I sure shit know it's not the way that she did it. And on top of it, to to ingratiate yourself with a family and then to go on that wants attention for their loved ones. My God, who wouldn't? To take advantage of that. It is, it's like disaster capitalism, where you go on. I talk about Louisiana, just side tangent. After Katrina, I lived in New Orleans for a while. When I went back to New Orleans after Katrina and everything, well, shit, man, they have Katrina tours. Where you can
Oh
go and
god.
see the lower ninth leveled, right? There's this disaster. There's this
Yeah. I
disaster
can't with that shit.
capitalism. Yeah, but that's what this feels like to me. Is
Mhm.
that it feels like it's
I've never met
disaster.
anybody else that described that aftermath of a hurricane and the touristy effect of it
Oh
all, don't
shit, man.
that gets it like I do and
Oof.
that
Mm-mm.
it bothers the way it bothers me. Thank you for
Oh,
even touching on that and using that
oh
for a
man.
moment because
Yeah.
that's a whole girl.
But
I mean, they
oof.
don't people don't get what I'm standing out in the yard and I'm
Mm-hmm.
full on aware there's a big ass hurricane cooking across the Gulf of
Mm-hmm.
Mexico
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna bypass me and head straight for New
Yep.
Orleans.
Yep. Sure as hell
Very
did.
low-lying city,
Yeah.
and my heart sank because you can't help but think, "Thank God it's not me,
Yeah.
but I pray for them because I know what's about to happen down there."
Yeah.
And then to know that after shit like that happens, the trauma vultures come.
Yep.
How long
Yep.
they stay is
Yep.
anybody's guess.
Oh
Usually with a
yeah.
disaster, it's like a couple days, peace out, people. Here's your
Right.
paper towels, good luck.
Right. Shit. No, you can take a disaster tour. Meanwhile, my girlfriend's out there, can't even
That's
drive out by a city park because she used to talk. She went out in a boat. Well, I don't even want to get into it, but you know what I'm talking about.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what I get from these certain people that ingratiate themselves with a family who has suffered immense beyond belief tragedy, and to then portray yourself as more involved than you were with that tragedy or with that family, is a kind of personality disorder. I don't have, thank God. I don't know what that is, and I don't know if that's a part of some malfunction or if that's by design or a little bit of both. But
Mm,
taking on another family as your own, and that's another thing though that she says. She apparently everybody's her dear friend. Lauren, apparently
every
everybody's her, my dear friend such and such, my dear friend whoever. My dear, bullshit, man. I can hardly stand people. Good Lord, you have that many dear friends? I just, it all smacks of just being contrived. And yeah, she's a disaster tourist, is what she is.
She is, and she portray herself as anything but that. You,
Woof.
when you're in this genre, okay, true crime, whatever, if you're covering true crime in this way, you're on here, YouTube, podcasts, whatever that
Mm-hmm.
is, you're going to make some money in some aspect. Like here, I make money on ad rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And I get in trouble a lot because my content's not suitable for all ads. I'm like, well, fuck
Right.
no, it's I say the F word a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
well, YouTube don't really care about that. They don't, but it's the topics a lot of times, right? But
Mm-hmm.
once they do a manual review, then they're like, okay, yeah, you're good. Yeah, we're just talking about true crime, dude. Nothing else happening over here on my channel, you know? And
Right.
so that's there. Some people can make a lot of money and some people can't. There's nothing wrong with making money, but to do it the wrong way and to use people
Yeah.
and then to use that for content,
Yeah.
to spin it, even if you don't, and there's creators out there that don't believe the bullshit they're selling.
I don't get that.
I
I
don't
mean,
either. Well, I
ah,
do. They're doing it for money.
I
It's that
guess.
part is what it is.
Whew.
And that's sad because then that's where the lies about the cases come in. The lies about the victims are inserted.
Yeah.
Um, all the unnecessary bullshit is born. I went down every single rabbit hole known to man in the Idaho 4 case.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it all. There was a lot with Delphi, but guess what? What was being talked about in Delphi? Damn, holy shit. Did you read that document?
Mm.
Did you look up the people in the document like I did?
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. What do we got here? I never got that in Idaho 4. I got Ann Taylor and I called it. I had Ann Taylor watching what was happening in Delphi as far as court documents and how they were handling even social media. And
Mm-hmm.
it was so fucking obvious between reading the 2 case court documents the way I do.
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading one day and I was like, "Damn, Ann Taylor's taking a play out of the Delphi book." The next couple times I read one, I was like, "She's going down that Lori Vallow trail here soon." And guess
Mm-hmm.
what she did? She wanted that death penalty off the table and cited the Lori Vallow case,
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
prosecution, ministerial conduct, and no
Mm-hmm.
all that noise. It worked for Lori, but it didn't work for Koberger.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just that so bad things can come of people with ill intent who have channels, but I always say I'm not the YouTube police. What am I going to do?
Right.
You know, I don't want to
Right.
come out and be the call out channel and the one who takes people to, hold feet to the fire. Joe, that whole thing bothered me the way it did because I knew Joe. I didn't fucking know Lauren and Grayson
Mm-hmm.
and all them other women.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Lauren had a YouTube channel and Joe met her and shit. That's all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to know her like that.
Mm-mm.
I'm not a people person.
Hell
She's
no.
not
I
my
hate
kind of people.
people.
No, I know. And she's not my kind of people, no way. Me and that kind of woman, we are not going to get
Mm-mm.
along well.
Mm-mm.
I'm going
Mm-mm.
to say the F word. One time we were on a live, or Joe and Megan were on a live. And I used to tease Joe because here on my channel, people know I'm going to be saying the word fuck.
Right.
He'd over here, he'd be dropping the F bomb, saying it. Get on his channel, we were not cussing.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
said to him, dude, I'll be respectful in your chat because I know you got a lot of LDS current informer in your chat. I know that's not comfortable for y'all. I don't want to upset your community. They
Right.
love their they love their creators, right? I ain't trying to get in a fight with your peoples. So
Right.
I would kind of watch myself there, but he would do it over here. Well, one time he had Megan on his show and he asked her about growing up Mormon today, how they are now as adults. He's like, "Do you ever feel, self conscious or bad when you say the F word?" And
Well,
she replies, "Fuck no."
oh, good
And
for her.
I did. I started laughing, girl. I was like, okay. And Joe, his face turned beet red. He didn't know what to say. I was like, see, Joe, you got a problem with strong ass women who can say the word fuck on the internet.
Yep. Proudly, repeatedly, liberally. Yeah,
We
you
don't
bet.
give a fuck, right?
No,
Exactly.
absolutely not. No, life's too short to give a fuck about the language because sometimes those only swear words will do. I mean, that's
Have
just bottom line.
have y'all
Uh,
seen Ashley Banfield's YouTube channel?
oh
She
God,
says
no.
the F word all the time.
Good for her. Good
Fuck
for
this and fuck that. Like, fuck yes, Ashley. I remember when you went undercover back in the Gulf War.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that's it, you
You
know, and
remember
that's
that? I'm sure
she
you do of all
yeah.
people. Who look
Well,
who I'm asking.
no, no, and that's the thing that people don't, I think, understand is that Ashley Banfield has bona fides. That woman was in a war
Yes.
zone, for Christ's sake. She can do some life. She can do some stuff now.
She got some
She's
balls. Let's just be
put
honest.
yes, she has, and you know, there's still journalists, women, friends, whatever of mine out there doing the good work. But she's put in her time. That is not what Lauren has done. She was
No,
a
God,
she was a
no.
news reader. I'm sorry. Yes, there is a place in it, and that's not to say that it doesn't have its place. I'm not talking down to those folks. It's just it is a
Right.
certain skill. You're on camera, your talent basically, and you have a lot of people working for you, and I'm sure she did some reporting. But you know, when you compare her, say, to what Banfield might want to do here or there, well, she's earned it. Lauren has not.
Yeah. Right.
um,
Lauren
has
can't call
not.
herself a journalist in that
No.
aspect. There's a
Correct.
lot of people there's a lot of people out here on social media, the new form of media, whatever you want to call
Mm-hmm.
it, that are being held up as
Mm-mm.
journalists. And
Mm-mm.
I'm like, but they're like me. We're just out here
Yes.
talking. Some are maybe investigative reporters and maybe got a little more access to things than I would have. I don't claim to be any of that. I just claim to be a lady who likes to talk true crime on the internet um, with my people, you know.
Right.
But and I never claimed to be more than that. I never want to be on court TV because if I ever was called to court TV, say a local case popped off, and I
Mm-hmm.
happened to get a little bit of what 5 minute internet fame, and they actually called me. Guess what they're gonna get, or don't get me at
Mm-hmm.
all. They're gonna get this same avatar everybody gets every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're not gonna get
Yeah.
anything more than that. And if
Right.
that's not good enough for you, peace out. I don't care.
Right.
That's not what I'm here for.
I
I
can't keep
honestly
my
don't.
face I can't keep my face straight or my mouth clean. I'm
Me
not, you know, I
either.
don't wanna, and I don't care.
I
And
don't
the
either. My face will give it away each and every time, Andy,
oh,
and I
Lord.
can't hide it.
Mm-mm.
It's fucked up, and I don't wanna get dolled up with no damn camera either.
Uh-uh.
It's shit, fuck that. I got
Mm-mm.
better I'm gonna just
Better
sit here
things to
and
do. Right.
yeah, I could be
Right.
in my pajamas for all y'all know.
Right.
Um,
Or nothing.
but exactly, well,
Well,
no, I don't like that.
right.
That
But
might bother but
yeah,
yeah. You
but
know what I'm saying?
yeah.
There's a whole level of difference that people seem to, and the part about it that bothers me is putting people on pedestals as if there's some amazing journalists we should all follow hands down. But are the right cases being looked at in the right way? Because then when you take for instance, the Koberger case and the Delphi case, all the issues I saw in Delphi, I never saw in Idaho. And I swear to God, I promise I looked for them,
Mhm.
never found them.
Mhm.
But how do I get people to listen that this is happening in Delphi? Because there was a lot, if we're being honest, drama happening in Delphi for a
Of
while
course.
on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah.
And it was hard to get the actual message out about what was happening because there was a lot of internal, if you want to call that drama,
Yeah.
happened in Idaho 4 too. It got so messy over there, there was like, peace out until documents come. This is fucking bullshit,
Right.
right? And and that's so I feel like a lot of times what's important about the cases starts to get lost, and that's where it starts. And then in the end, it blows up, and it becomes about those creators that were covering those cases, and that's weird. And I
Right.
don't understand that trend.
Right.
It feels like it's becoming a trend, and I don't
Well,
get it. I honestly don't
well,
give a shit about y'all's personal lives and
right,
what
right,
took
right,
place last night.
right.
I
But I think that you're doing, but see, and this is my thing, is that anybody, I'm no more of an investigative journalist than anybody else is. I've just done it for over 20 years. It just happened to be my job. That's it. And I've seen, when what I consider what Bob and Lawyer Lee and Andrea did was journalism, because
Mhm.
truly all it is providing and informing the public. And I think that's what you do too, and many others, in the space do, when they bring forth, like, some of the documents are so critical. I mean, going through that is an act of reporting in and of itself. And so I think people
Yes.
need to feel empowered on that level. And there's plenty of ways to bring snark and community into that make it entertaining, for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
which I don't mean by entertaining. I mean, like, engrossing or interesting, or whatever you want to call it. But I
Yeah.
think you do. But I think that, there's enough of that, I think, to go around. And I think, at least for me, with the Delphi situation, now that more documents are finally coming to light, hopefully, um, uh, there's going to be renewed interest in that aspect of it. And you know what, frankly, fuck the people that want to jump in and be these assholes out here making claims about people. And I do think that this is where I kind of draw the line. And I'm not policing people, but I will police people when they do shit that disproportionately impacts people out here trying to do the work, whether that's HTC with their copyright strikes, or Murder Sheet with their copyright claims, or their legal actions behind the scenes, because that does take away from the legitimate issues going on. But it is endemic. And I think that's why talking about these things in a thoughtful and intelligent manner, and making sure that people do understand, this is not normal, folks, what hidden true crime has done. It's not normal what happens when,
No.
Anya and Kevin say, misrepresent, to third parties, other people out there reporting, or contact a represented party, like, so my point is that these people do deserve to be called out for the right reasons, not because of their damn
Right.
eyebrows, not because of their whatever, uh,
Right.
but because of what they're doing.
You're right. And it's that way with the Murder Sheet. I got, because I was
Mm,
that the whole thing. After a while, it was like whatever, because people, they're just mad at them now at this point. But
right.
it didn't seem like anything was getting done about what they were doing to start with, and how it wasn't. It was obvious to so many other people, but for
Yeah.
them and their supporters or followers, whatever, their viewers, whatever.
Mhm.
I know they had their podcast as well as, I guess, the YouTube channel, but their whole situation was so, to me, dangerously messy,
Yes.
right? To be
Yeah.
the controlling part, to be the controller of the story,
Yeah.
to be the go-to for all things Delphi, you
Yeah.
know, hidden true crime over here, all things Lori
Yeah.
Vallow,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you
And
got other channels dedicated to all things Idaho 4. I get bored. I got my hands in the pot at a little bit of everywhere. And this case might sit dormant for anything new comes down. What am I going to do in the meantime? I'm looking at this case now. And hell, we got to keep up with that. There's an update on that one, but to be just one, and I get and I appreciate channels who focus in on one case, because if you find a good one, because you can
yeah.
get a lot of facts and keep up with it that way.
Yeah.
But I can't do that because that's not how my brain works. It's a little all over the place at times, and I'll get bored. But
Mhm.
it it just, if they're doing it for the right reasons, like you said, and calling them out on what they did. And with Murder
Right.
Sheet, it was man,
Mm. I
accusing
think
people of doing things that
mm.
you were doing, I don't know if you know, I know for a fact, in my opinion, I don't know nothing for a fact. In my opinion, they really wanted to be that Delphi go-to
Oh
at all
yeah.
costs, at
Hmm.
all costs. And going back
Hmm.
to getting that unredacted copy of Klein's
Yep.
what with
Hmm.
that transcript, wasn't it? They
Hmm.
got
Yeah.
hands
Yeah.
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
that they somehow got their hands on early on. Now remember that, very early on in that investigation,
Yeah.
they're the ones who received leaked
Uh-huh.
information.
Right.
But
Yep.
what? Leaked
Hmm.
information, you say?
Right. Oh, I think their story is still being written.
Oh
Uh,
god, yeah, I
and
hope so.
no. I mean, I truly, I actually do believe that there is a point where the whether they lose control of their own narrative or get out over their skis to a point
Yeah,
where it's like, oh shit. And I feel like maybe somewhere along the way, uh, things will come to light, because they generally do, if what needs to come to light is critical to understanding what, no matter what it is, it could be any circumstance, but I truly think that there's a lot more there, and I believe that there's a lot more with, and we're seeing it with Lauren. We're seeing that play out. I think that the same is going to happen for Kevin and Anya. I truly do. I think that there's some things there that cannot be ignored, unfortunately, for them.
there isn't. There's things that just about that whole and the way they would come out and because I've seen it all that they've ever done and what was going on, and the way they went about trying to expose other people, that whole angle
That
that made
hateful nonsense.
that
Mm-mm.
still, yeah, that made you now you've moved into that real messy drama territory, right?
Right. Right.
So now you're not even focused about what happened in the woods
Mm-mm.
to those little
Nope.
girls. Now you're covering what you perceive as the drama of it all.
Oh God.
And you're talking about people I actually have respect for,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That I
Yeah.
consider friends, my internet
Hmm.
friends, my
Yeah.
true crime buddies.
Yep.
Um, uh,
Yep. I
and
think.
so
Yeah.
you're mad because somebody talked about something privately?
Having nothing to do with you. You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
Absolutely nothing. And because somebody else got butt hurt about something,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, here you go. Here's the goods on my friend. So let's go run to the streets with it. Well,
Mm-mm.
we're seeing that play out right now on other people's
Yeah.
channels.
Yeah.
So again, I take those as red flags about those people, and then I wonder, can I trust these types of people
Hell
for
no.
accurate information or unbiased information or
Right.
to read a fucking document and know what a word means, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't tune into those people after I see that kind of stuff happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
I check completely out.
There's, and it's really telling when all of that went down with the releasing of people's, I mean, it's like, come on, man, it's just gross. Why are you releasing all this stuff that's between a group of people, right? And when there's other incredibly important and truly interesting, and important things going on in the case.
They wanna
Why?
pretend they put that much effort into the actual leaked, evidence photos.
Bullshit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I could tell you a tale, but that'll be a day.
I'm sure I am sure, ma'am, and I am not I gotta make a whole pot of coffee and shit for that. Um,
One fine day. Yeah. But it's like, it's very telling. And that more, I just think, do you stick with, you find the people that are reading, like for me, I'm a huge nerd for people reading documents. Love it. Can do it, listen to it all day long. You find your places, or I find those places that have a good dose of snark, but give me
mhm.
the information.
Right. We're all
Yeah.
gonna have our our snark. We're all going to have our thoughts and opinions, right? But we also, at the same time, I try to base them out of what I'm reading in a court document. I start to and that opinion can change by the time I read the next document, right? When
Mhm.
you got an active case and you're setting up for trial and it's not under a big old giant gag like the Koberger case, and you can actually
Mm.
read a document,
Mhm.
and get some you kind of get an idea of where you're going. And you might there were times I read documents in the Koberger case, I'm like, "Yes, Ann Taylor, bring it, lady. I'm here
Right.
for it."
Right.
And then the follow-up document would be like, what?"
Right.
What had happened, Anne,
Mhm.
between that last document and today? Something's going on, not something's not right, you know? So I try to I'm gonna form my opinions based out of what I'm reading
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
everything else is gonna be what I hear and see on the internet. And
Mhm.
when I tell y'all, I saw and heard it all in the Idaho 4 case, man, did I. I still got a whole alternate scenario laid out in my DM. It goes on and on and on. I mean, it's pretty well thought out. And it wasn't a hole that wasn't explored, but
Mm.
damn, it went nowhere. So things
Yeah.
like that. And there's those things are worth exploring.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get a little bit of information about Delphi and you hear a name. And I start doing independent research because I'll go review what a few people out there have. But
Mhm.
now I need to go look for myself. That's just the way I am.
Mhm.
I'm a freaking
Mhm.
sponge. I'm a Gemini. I got to know more.
Mhm.
So then I start looking at those individual people and I'm like, holy shit,
Yeah.
what do we have here?
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
now I see evidence with my own eyes that's backing up what that court document that defense attorney just dropped says.
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
just some defense attorney, we got a problem Houston issue thing going on. We got a whole ass issue apparently, you
Right.
know.
Right.
Um, so and
Well,
I think that gets lost a lot of times too in these cases, that the drama of it all takes over. And it's to hell what that document says. So and so said this is really what happened.
mhm.
Kind of thing happens too. It's weird.
Yeah, yeah. It's real weird. And I think, to going back to your point about the way things people take on a certain narrative, and the narrative still hangs out there around the Richard Allen case that somehow the defense created that
Mhm,
Frank's memorandum out of
mhm.
whole cloth. And it's like, I'm sorry, but if people want to be intellectually honest and understand that there's documentation from the Indiana State Police going back to like May of 2017, where they're talking about Asatru and Odinism, that is where it came from.
Yeah.
It wasn't some cockamamie thing that defense dreamed up and sucked out of their thumb. It simply is not. And hearing people make fun of that theory, it's like, okay, you can make fun of it, but tell that to the FBI, tell that
Yeah.
to, the ISP, because they're the ones that put that together. And that got lost. It wasn't something that was made up.
No,
So
and that does tend to get lost when you bring people don't
yeah,
understand it,
yeah.
and then it's like with a lot of defense attorneys, they'll assume, well, that's just what the defense attorneys are trying, but that you with Ann Taylor in the Idaho 4 case, she tried that. We got an alternate suspect. We got an unknown DNA. The judge is like, "Well, you better give me a little bit more than that, ma'am." But she couldn't bring it to the table. She knew better. She knew what
Hmm.
she was doing.
Hmm.
But in this case, they had evidence based on what the prosecution had looked at, or not the prosecution so much as the detectives
Yeah,
were
yeah.
looking at it early on.
Hmm.
Something led those investigators early on to even look in that direction.
Yep.
And I'm still to this day perplexed as to what that was. Was it just the crime scene alone? Was it the fact that one of them dated a boy whose father did sketchy shit on the internet that mimicked what you saw in the woods?
Hmm.
What exactly put your eyes on that to start with?
Right.
Okay. So then they did all that. And
For a
then,
long
like you said,
time.
yeah, then the other investigations with the ISP, what they gathered and what the task force gathered with the FBI. And, it's like, so don't come at us and say that's some bullshit pulled out of the wind. No,
Mm-mm.
it's not. And if you
No.
start looking into, like you said, you mentioned the Azatru, if you
Hmm.
start looking into that and who all is involved with that. They're, to my surprise, as I'm researching these names in this document, I am finding all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Led me right to the Southern Poverty Law Center, and
Yep.
boy, oh boy,
Mm-hmm.
boy, oh boy, I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, damn, Ann
Yeah.
Taylor ain't got no alt suspects like this.
Like actually named in SPLC documentation. I mean, crossing over with the Patriot. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and if you
hear
could
you,
see
girl.
what they were doing, it's because if you go to that website, you look them up and you
Hmm.
see what they were doing, what they're involved with, and then you go and look at the Facebook stuff these guys were doing, the TikTok stuff. The TikTok, oh my God, when it came out that there was a prison guard at the prison wearing Odinist patches, like, you
Hmm.
gotta be kidding me, right?
Yeah.
That's fucking unheard of. Now we got that happening too. That's really strange. I go look at this guy and I find his TikTok and I'm like, holy cow, we got a full on Odinist on our hands working in the penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
And what do they have in that Indiana State Penitentiary? They have a huge problem with these types of gangs.
Yeah.
But you also got guards that work there that are doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nobody's wanted to look, not in the right way.
Right.
Not,
Correct.
not, no, there is a group. Let me just put that out there right now.
Yeah.
There is an absolute group of
Mm-hmm.
people I have tons of respect for. I think
Mm-hmm.
they're affectionately called the Cranks.
That's right.
They're my
Yeah.
people,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm an honorary crank in a way there. I
That.
mean, I've thrown shade and made fun of being called the Cranks, but I know that
Mm-mm.
they doubled down on that, the murder
Oh.
sheet. Like,
Yep.
they're known as internet cranks. I was like, what the fuck, lady?
It's like
I remember
goddamn right.
I was listening to that podcast for, like, recon reviewing shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think the first time I ever heard her say that. And she's like, I was like, what the fuck is she talking about? A
Mm-hmm.
crank, you know?
Nah.
Turns out she meant the people on the internet that I knew.
Right, right. And I mean, the thing is, it's like, there's people out here that out there doing the
The thing
Lord's
is,
work.
Lord's work. There are cranks on the internet, but define what that even means. People who stir the pot,
Hmm.
people who stir the drama, people who stir the rumors and speculation and the rabbit holes and the conspiracies. What define those terms? It's like defining reasonable doubt. I will always say there's a lot of people in this world. Is my reasonable and Andy's reasonable the same?
Who knows, right?
It probably depends on the situation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We may have to have a whole ass discussion
There,
about it.
there is no
Figure it
reasonable
out.
doubt that I'm gonna have a goddamn cookie here in a hot second. There's no reasonable doubt there, but yeah, no, I mean, but you're right, and but the thing, the critical difference is it's that I think that folks like maybe you and I and some of the dear beloved cranks out there can hold different opinions, but have meaningful conversations
Yeah,
versus pissing contests. I don't
right.
care. Take your pissing contest and
There,
take a
I
leap.
I love people that I can have those kinds of conversations with. I have
Hmm.
an internet buddy. We haven't chatted in a while. He did like a post on Twitter like sometime today, and I was like, ah, my old buddy.
Hmm.
But we would talk in DMs, and we would debate the Idaho 4 case. We
Hmm.
would see each other make comments on Twitter, right? And we would make little comments when there we would just talk. And he was like literally the only person I ever had a conversation with, like I guess in a private manner about that case. And it was based on what do you think happened? Who do you think did it? Because
Hmm.
I always leaned as if I think the probable cause is strong enough. He really could be the guy. He always leaned, I don't know if I trust that probable cause. Something's amiss, not something's not right. So I
Hmm.
loved we would have actual debates.
Hmm.
And in the end, when we're like, today we're prosecutor and defense, he's like, okay, you're making good points. I'm like, yeah, but so are you.
Hmm.
Right. And that's the kind of conversation. And he knows that I'm open anytime he wants to come live and have a conversation. I'm so down because
Hmm.
I love those types of conversations. And you're right. We should be able to have them and not come out of the gate and have to choose a side.
Right.
Girl, I got shunned in the Idaho 4 community because people were like, "You don't," they wanted me to pick a side.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't be in a chat and safely go up against or challenge
Mhm.
what somebody said because, "Oh, no, you're either all in on innocent or guilt or you get the fuck out." You know?
Yeah. I got no
Damn.
time for that kind of bullshit,
Yeah, I don't
honestly.
either.
Like, ugh.
It's like, well, shit, you don't gotta full on agree with me, but have enough sense to have a conversation as to why.
Yeah.
And shit,
Yeah.
if you got a good point, I'm open to hear it. I might have missed something.
And that's the part. Because the thing is that I'm open to new information, man. And if I'm wrong about whatever, name it, if I'm wrong about X, Y, and Z, and somebody shows me a piece of evidence or a new document or whatever that I didn't know about, I am able, I am fully grown ass woman able to change my position and my
Yeah.
understanding. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's a good thing, if you're presented with
Yeah.
new information, for
We should
Christ's
be able
sake.
to take in new information
Yes.
and be able to form a new opinion or change our mind as we move through it.
Hmm.
Especially if you
Absolutely.
don't have all the information. That's crazy, insane talk that I don't get anymore. And I wonder if people have lost the ability. Do you know, back with the pandemic, I feel like that's when a lot of real social media communities were born, right? Um,
Probably, yeah.
Everybody's stuck at home now. There's the backyard to chill in, there's the house to chill in. Everybody's doing their little fixing up the house, making it cozy, and they're getting online and they're finding communities to communicate with, like-minded people, finding their tribes, all these things. But did people lose their ability to think for themselves?
Maybe. I mean,
Because,
yeah.
right, if I go into a certain chats, I'm only gonna hear there's this one channel out there during Delphi. I I I had concerns, and the only concern was I felt like they were being fed
Oh,
information, and I didn't know anything about them or really a lot of backstory on the inner workings of what was happening in the fucking Delphi case, but I do
hmm.
now,
Hmm.
and I think I was right all along, but I felt like they were getting fed information from a prosecutorial side.
Lord have mercy.
It was very heavily handed prosecutorial side, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's all I was getting. I was like, man, did y'all just read that same document that they read on
Oh.
Bob's channel last night?
Hmm.
That document, right? And I'm not hearing that today over here at all. And I was like, whoa, red flag, right? But if I had just listened to that alone and let that be my opinion, that's a problem.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you have to be willing. I mean, I have to be willing to consume other things, right? And until I get to that point where I'm like, this is nah. I know which way the wind's blowing. So but I have
Right.
to be open to entertaining those other points of view. At least that's my feeling.
Well,
I need to be open to that.
well, yeah, and that's what a jury should be, right? And
Yep.
who makes up a jury? The jury of our peers,
Hmm.
the people in the chat right now, all of us hanging out together, jury of our peers. So you got all these different people from different walks of life, different experiences, but they should all have one thing in common, being able to be open
Yeah.
and to
Absolutely.
think for themselves. And
Yes.
your thought process is going to be different. Nobody can change that, nor should they want to. But let at least have an open mind, really evaluate, does that make sense? Or do I need someone to tell me if it makes sense? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And sometimes shit just don't make
That's
sense.
Yep.
So it's like where that journalistic line, people who want to claim to be a journalist, go be like Andy says, go be journalists, do your jobs.
Yeah.
Don't come out here and talk about each other today.
Right.
Hell, we've got thousands of views over here where they're doing lives talking about each other
Mhm.
when they met because they were covering a case. Hell, we got one guy out there marrying a YouTuber in the Summer Wells case. I'm like, what the fuck? Break some of that. I don't even want to look at that. I
Is
don't
that
even
the
want to look at whatever that is.
is that the new prison marriage? I mean, my God.
No, 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 no. What
Oh,
new prison marriage? Was there a new prison? Oh
no,
Lord.
I'm just saying that somebody fallen in love across
No,
the
this a
okay,
guy that's in the somebody who
never
lived over there by the Summer Wells property. inserted himself into the case, obviously, got on YouTube and shit. He ended up marrying a YouTube content creator
I
who was
see.
covering the case.
Oh,
Yeah. And it's like, I'm
oh
not
God.
trying to meet no man to start with, and I certainly don't need to
Uh-uh.
meet him on here.
Uh-uh.
I, I,
Shit. Well, I'm gonna have to jump off here soon. I got a cat that needs to be fed, and she's starting to go nuts and bite my
mine
leg.
is sound asleep.
Well, lucky dog. You're lucky.
Yeah, well, I got her these new catnip mice
Oh.
yesterday, and she had has been having a field day with that little dude. So,
Aw, I love
yeah,
it.
but she's
Aw.
sound asleep on the bed right now, actually.
Yeah, mine's turning into a monster, so I'm gonna gotta get her some food.
Well, I
Um,
appreciate you coming on and having a conversation with me and us trying to unpack some of this. It's such a bigger conversation. You know, I felt that way for a while, and you have as
mhm.
well.
Oh
And we've
yeah.
been wanting to get up and link up, but I appreciate you coming and it's letting me vent and get this out. And maybe, hopefully moving forward, things can shift in good ways, for true, because when all that started began to happen with Lauren and like those Krama Joe going on a
Mhm.
Krama channel and all that,
Yeah.
I guess he knew what he was doing, but going and watching them tear down Lauren and all of true crime at the same time. It's like, wait a minute, I am in true crime. I literally have a
Right.
true crime channel. So I can't sit here and be a part of this, whatever this is. So hopefully we can get the channels who don't do all that and want to show what victims actually go through. Without
Right.
victims, we wouldn't have a damn defendant.
Mm-mm.
We wouldn't be getting ready for trials, and we wouldn't have guys being locked away in prisons and weird things happening in these states. Look at Kentucky, Letcher County, Kentucky. What the
Yeah.
hell's going on there?
Yeah.
There's another good case for people to look at with hard eyes, because it's not just a case of dirty old men getting it on with the girls in the town.
Oh God, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
It's so much more of what they took away from their own community in the name of dirty old men.
Mhm.
And that it is that the bottom line is a bunch of dirty old men, but they got greedy over time and took more and more and more
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
funneled in more and more. I could go on and on. I gotta do a whole show about that.
Yeah.
Damn, Letcher County, fucking Kentucky. But anyway, just there's a lot that needs to have attention on it, that gets lost because everybody's over there talking about some drama,
Yeah.
about why you crying on the floor and stuff.
Oh Lord, I gotta go check. I mean, we'll have to talk again because but
Yeah,
oh
you
yeah,
need to go feed your cat,
I
and
do.
I need to go probably find some food. I'm feeling better, and I think I'm gonna eat and chill. Um, Thank you again for
All
joining
right.
us.
All
We
right.
appreciate the conversation.
Okay.
Anytime you wanna come back, let me know, and
Hell yeah.
I'm
Okay.
down.
No problem. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Okay.
Andy,
Bye
for
bye.
being here. Thank you,
Bye.
thank you. All right, guys. Thank you all for coming in and being a part of the show tonight and joining in on the conversation. Y'all know I love that. I appreciate Andy coming up and talking with us and hanging out, because there's just a lot that needs to be talked about, and how this space moves, and why it moves like it does sometimes. You can't avoid having those conversations. And I mean, I guess you can, but I just talking about drama all the time is not what I call fun. It can be fun for a minute and you can laugh, but after that you're like, okay, enough's enough already. But um I didn't play the video I was talking about, but I'm going to drop it in the chat. Let me grab it, because I don't even know if it'll let me play it tonight. It's kind of lengthy. It's Lauren and Grayson in Boise, talking to the cops there, because Andy and I just kept talking. So I felt like we were giving you guys the gist of what was going on there. But let me grab it again. Jay dropped a video she shared. Whoops. So let me get the link here. Uh-oh. No, cancel. That was the wrong button. I almost hit end stream. Okay. There it goes. That should be the link to the, yeah, it is. Okay. So that's when she calls the cops down in Boise when she's mad about showing up for the Koberger hearing and all that stuff that we were talking about earlier. And you can watch, if you guys go watch that, if you don't mind, and leave me a comment under the live and tell me what you think about Lauren's demeanor in that video. Because I'm telling you, she takes her phone and she's videoing her encounter with the police. And then she finally asked the cop, "Is it okay if I record this?" He's like, "Yeah, well, I'm recording it too," talking about his body cam. And then at one point, she takes the I'm very observant. I'm watching you, sister. She takes the sleeve of her sweatshirt and she wipes the lens on her camera. And she keeps focusing on the phone. And she's looking around at her surroundings, almost totally ignoring every word that cop is saying, in my opinion. But she's wanting to make sure Grayson's listening to that cop. It's really strange. She's in producer mode at the moment. That was where my brain went when I watched that video. It's one of the things that got me the most. Like, this girl's not even scared of anything. She's literally calling it cyberbullying, and she is producing content, saving it for later. She said it was for her records because she needed to show the cop more videos that she had taken that were on her phone. So she tells Grayson, "I'm going to stop recording and save it for the records, save for our records." I was like, damn, girl. Okay. So anyway, y'all check it out. Check that out. What have y'all been saying in chat? Sorry, I haven't been keeping up with chat and responding, guys. I was chit-chatting away. I'm sure my mods are doing a fabulous job at keeping up with you guys. Pokemon, welcome in. Everybody who is in here who I didn't acknowledge yet, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it so much. And we'll continue these conversations. I've seen some new faces in here as well. Welcome in, everybody. Forrest gave out 10 memberships earlier. I appreciate you so much, sir. Welcome into all of our new members who received one. Simi Sharp. Mara, welcome in. Z Callie. Like I said, there was Bite My Bits. Okay. What are you saying? You've got some cool names. Sometimes you just love reading the names because it's so fun to say them. You can't help it, right? And y'all trick us with your names because then we say them and we're like, oh, man. Oh, what is that? Oh, okay. You're learning how to use the app on your phone and you commented on one of my posts accidentally. You'd never disrespect the channel. Thanks. Oh, did you say something bad about somebody else's channel and put it on mine by accident? We got you. No, we'll take care of it. Thank you. Lord, the 9 hour, the whole thing's BS. And it's still, the heart of the matter is taking advantage of a vulnerable family to get a story, to get the information, to get all those videos, and to get all the pictures, for her to put together her multiple shows, and for her to rework all of that content, the art, all the photos and videos. She could take them and edit it into any of her shows at any given time and rework it, right? Creating her content at that point. So what Kresha shows in her mind, because, John's in her head about she's got style like Brad Pitt. So in her mind, Kresha took her content that she created. I mixed that up in the studio and edited that together. You mean like I did in CapCut, or did you have somebody do it for you, your art department? I'm not sure what she's saying. I've got time for all that video making mess. It's time consuming. It got on my nerves. Danny almost has the ornaments hung, looking for the angel, all getting all the decorations out. How many of y'all are decorating since Thanksgiving's over? My mom always believed you got to decorate the day after Thanksgiving. I'm slacking because I was not feeling good. I haven't done anything yet, but I'll get jiggy with it maybe tomorrow starting. We'll see. We'll see how the week progresses. I feel like as I get older and older, I do I I just don't do it as much. For my grandson, of course we did. We still do. I was just my son, because I recently moved out. I was on the phone with my son for like forever it seemed, and he was getting the tree out, and I'm telling him where stuff's at in the house as far as those decorations that I had put up. Yeah. So I know the baby's house is getting all decorated up. I decorated from afar. Does that matter? A long distance decorated. That counts. I'll keep it simple where I'm at because that's a lot of work. I'm not trying to do all that. I'd rather devote my time to something else. All right, guys. Well, I do appreciate y'all coming in. I've missed y'all. I had a good Thanksgiving. I hope that all of you did as well. Um, I ate a lot of food, spent the day with my sister and family, and yeah, that night I started feeling a cold, but yesterday was yucky, but I feel way better today. So, had to come live and talk for a little while. Probably won't go live tomorrow, but I'll be back on Monday. We'll try to pick up this week coming up with our usual, as much as we can, Monday through Friday thing like we normally do around here. We got to get caught up on case updates. That seems to be our shows lately, case updates, because there's been stuff happening, but it's been quiet the last couple days on some of them cases. The Melody Buzzard case, and no arrest yet in that David case, Les Rivas case. So I'll take a look at what's going on, and we'll come in and do our usual true crime stuff. And I'll get with Andy again soon. Hopefully, we can grab a show together. There's somebody else I've got in mind that I haven't had on in a while that I would love to chat with, that I want to get over here and talk to again soon. I'm going to see what I can do about getting Miss Dolphin up here soon. Hopefully, we'll have some more documents coming down. There is a curious document on the docket in Idaho 4. And it's like the prosecution's asking for something, but without a hearing. I'm like, what are you asking for without a hearing? Let me look at it real quick. I don't think it's dropped yet. It wasn't in there. See, it's not on the docket for us to see, but it's on the case summary page. So let me scroll down to the very bottom. Make it where I can see. Okay. So November 25th, a request was put in, it says, and it's a state's request for decision without hearing. Don't know what that is, guys. Don't know if that's about the restitution stuff. You know what I mean? Because Koberger's over there fighting his restitution stuff. So about that, or it says, what does that one say? On the 21st, document motion to redact or seal the newly filed record. See, that's just that stuff. And the restitution stuff, and the court minutes, and the restitution hearing, and all of that. The sealed. So we're waiting on the judge to unseal that last, or the third set of documents to come down. They haven't. And then whatever this state's request for decision without a hearing is. So if there's a document there, we'd read it, but there's not. So Riley Dolphin was here earlier. She checked in, but I haven't seen her in chat, I don't think. She might be here listening. Yeah, we got to get her up here soon. It's been a minute. So I will try to get a hold of her. And, well, I don't have to try. I'll just reach out to her. And I'll see if we can schedule her up to come up this week and chat with us. We can get caught up. There's some things, there's been body cam videos dropping in the Idaho 4 case. Interviews with the different friend group people, but none of them are eventful. There's nothing in any of them that we haven't heard. Yes, I knew them. Yes, I know those people. Uh, yeah, Kaylee might have mentioned a stalker. That kind of stuff. It's like nothing other than that shit. So we're still waiting on some Coburger documents if we ever get them. Any clues about what, Rach? Oh, guest or anything? Oh, yeah, there's a couple of guests. I gotta send an email out, actually. You were late, yeah. She was in earlier. Dolphin will have a, she will be gaming and listening at the same time. So there's no telling. But we'll get her up. We'll get her up this week. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. I'm going to go chill for the evening. I appreciate Andy again for coming up and having a chat with us. Y'all all know what I say. Be safe on them streets. It's crazy out there. And I, for me personally, I don't really want to watch a channel that's talking about drama because I don't, that's just not what I'm here for. And I'm totally fine. People who want to go be there for that entertainment aspect of it. I know I can find that on TV and stuff if I'm into it, but that's not what I came to YouTube for or talk about true crime for. So I appreciate those who come to talk about the actual true crime of it all and that aspect and what the implications of all of this can mean going forward, right? For the families, the victims themselves, the cases, these high profile cases. If y'all haven't noticed, defense attorneys are using now, well, it's a high profile case as part of their defense. And they're watching everything social media does when these high profile cases pop off. We don't know what's going to make a high profile case today, tomorrow, next day. We don't know what the next high profile case is going to be. Is there a formula to what makes it the high profile case? But you can tell by court documents, Ann's over there wanting to move shit around and do all these surveys. People, everybody knows, everybody's got a preconceived notion about my client. No, ma'am, that small people on YouTube do. It was whatever. Just, I don't know where to go from here with it and how to navigate it all. We're just going to always do the best we can and talk about it as openly and honestly as we can. I appreciate the guests who want to come on and have those same conversations. And yeah, just do it, And if we want to talk about their people like Lauren and their exploitive nature, that's part of her personality, obviously. Insert the messy drama. So if they got that type of personality, do they have the ability to look at any case openly and fairly? And why are they only on to one case and didn't move on to the next one closed? I always ask questions like that because it's bizarre to me. Then I got to wonder about that motive. Are you a plant trying to get me to believe something? Or are you just a grifter, they call them? Don't know what's happening. It's just a weird space to navigate, y'all. So be careful out there. And prop up those that you feel like has integrity and is um, cool to chill with. A lot of you guys coming in here, I appreciate all y'all. I see a lot of familiar faces in here though that I've seen that come in here all the time. Some come in off and on. I'm on a different schedule than a lot of them. They get me when they can. A lot of you get me on replay. Now that I'm here on a Saturday evening, you're able to be here and things like that. So I appreciate all of you guys for doing that. All right, guys, I'm going to go and do my thing for the evening, and I'll see you guys back here come Monday. Skin Row. That will be my mod Forest. Forest gifted out memberships during today's show. So we do appreciate that and welcome in all new members. All right, guys. Well, y'all go have a good rest of your, was it Saturday still? Y'all know me. If you don't know me, I got to look at the calendar half the time. I don't know what day it is or the date or the time half the time. I just kind of roll with my own thing. All right. It is a Saturday. So y'all go have a great rest of your weekend and I'll see you back here on Monday.
Thank you.